This is Nationwide 90 FM, owned and operated by Nationwide News Network Limited. We broadcast from our studios at 14 Ocean Boulevard in the Digicel Center, downtown Kingston, Jamaica, transmitting on the FM 90 band, 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne, serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester, transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew and parts of St. Thomas, and 90.7 from Cooper's Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James, serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM, also broadcast on YouTube at Nationwide 90 FM Live and on Flow at Channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock.
From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning.
A very good morning to you. I'm Tona Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Thursday, May 14, 2026. 4 stats students involved in attack on schoolmate slapped with criminal charges. Government to spend $145 million for drought mitigation plan for farmers. ODPEM says limited spending of hurricane relief funds reflects a prudent financial management on its part. In regional news, protests break out in Havana as diesel and oil run dry. In international news, China warns the U.S. that mishandling of Taiwan could spark conflict. In sports, Cavalier and Portmore United are on to the semifinals of the Wren-Nephew Jamaica Premier League. And in business, LPSR buys the iconic Gleaner building. The details after the break.
Imagine designing something unique, something personal, something bigger than just a dream. A reality designed by you, just for you. With Sagicor Lifestyle Approved Retirement Scheme, you can design the life you want to live. With tax-deferred savings of up to 20% of your income, you'll have the opportunity to do what you've always wanted to do. A reality designed by you. Call 888-SAGICOR today. Conditions apply.
Catch the first news of the day. A comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. 4 students of St. Elizabeth Technical High School have been hit with criminal charges following a series of violent incidents at the institution last week. The students are between 13 and 16 years old. They've been charged with assault occasioning bodily harm in connection with an attack on a 15-year-old schoolmate. Police say the incident occurred between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. last Wednesday, May 6, on the school's compound in Santa Cruz. Reports are that on the day, a dispute between 2 male students escalated into a fight in which one of them was injured. Subsequently, several other fights broke out at the school, including in the presence of senior members of the school administration. This prompted the suspension of classes last Thursday as administrators sought to restore order. The police have not indicated when the 4 students are expected to appear before the court. Now, the government is set to spend $145 million as a part of a drought mitigation plan for the agriculture industry ahead of an expected dry period. Portfolio Minister Floyd Green says consultations with the Met Service suggest a drought is likely in the coming months.
Madam Speaker, I see the Minister of Water is here and he's shared a report with me from the Meteorological Service, which has projected that Jamaica will experience drier conditions and elevated heat levels with the possibility of a protracted drought. In this financial year, RADA will intensify our drought mitigation strategy. We are going to be embarking on a 145 million mini water catchment pond construction program. What that means, members, in our high production zones, we're going to be building out water catchment ponds. And we're targeting those parishes that are known for drought.
Minister Green was making his contribution to the sectoral debate in the House of Representatives on Wednesday. The country has faced lengthy and more frequent droughts in recent years as new climate realities impact the island.
We're going to have to start some trucking, and we're going to be purchasing 2 more water trucks for the NIC to serve underserved areas. There are in some communities that you have catchment tanks already. We want to rehabilitate those catchment tanks and use them for agriculture. We're going to be distributing plastic and grass mulch because we also have to change our planting patterns so that people are keeping the moisture in the soil. And we'll be providing some drip irrigation systems and water tanks. In fact, we're starting to roll out these interventions now. And members of Parliament, you are going to be a part of that rollout. So today you will get an allocation to help your farmers deal with the oncoming drought.
Floyd Green, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. Meanwhile, Minister Green says that the government will pursue innovative irrigation solutions as a long-term measure to combat more frequent dry spells.
The bigger problem is, where will the water of the future come from? Yes, we are the land of wood and water, but water is always in demand. And that is why the National Irrigation Commission will start this year to truly explore non-traditional water sources. We're going to be looking at desalination facilities to use that to provide irrigated water for our farmers. We're also going to be looking at grey water-based technologies as we drive our long-term water resilience.
The Agriculture Minister says work will be done to increase the amount of arable land that has access to irrigation water.
We are going to continue building out irrigation. In fact, we have earmarked 6,000 hectares to be built out over the next 5 years. This will bring our country to over 50% of arable land that has water. And what are those projects? The Pedro Plains irrigation expansion, which there is budget for that this year to continue to build out irrigation that will serve over 4,000 hectares. And we have 4 smaller projects that will serve about 2,000 hectares. I want to assure the farmers in Essex Valley, farmers very familiar to Member Witter and Member Bunting, that we will be turning on their irrigation supply before the end of 2026.
Floyd Green, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. The government's Land Administration Capacity Enhancement Project, LANDCEP, will help to address the shortage of technicians and surveying professionals in the field. That's the assessment of Minister with responsibility for land titling and settlements, Robert Montague.
Jamaica has approximately 900 parcels of land, of which approximately 500,000 is titled, approximately 55%. The National Land Agency of Jamaica has 2 programs which the Koreans are investing heavily in systematic, but there is also the ad hoc program. The systematic program is where the government comes in, does all the surveys, all the legal work, and then there's a bill at the end of it. On the ad hoc part, the citizen is responsible to coming to us to doing the technical work, and we walk them through the process. That process is hindered in many ways by a shortage of trained and skilled technicians and professionals. This project is about to correct a lot of that.
Robert Montague, Minister with responsibility for land titling and settlements. LANDCEP is an initiative designed to strengthen Jamaica's land administration framework through institutional innovation, technical capacity building, and advancements in geospatial technologies. It was launched on Tuesday in a partnership between the Holness Administration and the Korea International Cooperation Agency. It will be funded through a grant of $9 million or just over 1.4 billion Jamaican dollars from the agency. Through LANDCEP, the government plans to establish the Land Administration Innovation Center on Harbour Street in downtown Kingston. The government says this facility will provide structured training and technical development opportunities for high-level policymakers, managerial personnel, and operational officers across the public sector. Now, the man leading the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, Commander Alvin Gale, has sought to explain why less than $30 million of the over $1 billion donated to the Hurricane Melissa relief effort was spent in the first 6 months since disaster struck the western end of the country. He was responding to findings from a real-time audit done by the Auditor General's Department. Mahiri Stewart reports.
The report from the Auditor General's Department was tabled in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, May 12. According to the Auditor General, Pamela Monroe Ellis, less than 2% of the over $1.4 billion in hurricane donations has been spent up to April 2. That's just over $26 million. And this is 6 months after Melissa devastated western parishes. But, speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Wednesday, ODPEM's Director General, Commander Alvin Gale, says the lack of spending reflected the office's prudent financial management.
At the material time, we had spent some $26 million to support the government-directed roof repair program under the shelter recovery program. We had ceased spending directly from that account, as we would have written to the Ministry of Finance to see the regularizations of the funds as is required. Since then, we have spent some $135 million to support the program. We must also understand that at the time's material, some $400 million worth of building material and sundries were donated to the program, which when we looked at it, it would have been prudent for us to retain the funds and cause for the donated materials to be used in the execution of the program. So it's against that background, only $26 million would have been spent.
ODPEM adds that the donated funds were intended to support national relief interventions, which formed part of the shelter recovery program. Commander Gale says funds to support the program have now been earmarked.
There's also the matter concerning the deployment of modular housing solutions. So to support the modular housing solutions, there is some $600 million earmarked. To support that program, more specifically, we are speaking about the construction of the concrete bases that need to attend to the deployment of these housing solutions. So another $600 million has been earmarked to support, again, the shelter recovery program.
And Commander Gale says most of the funds will go towards housing recovery.
The overarching idea of the utilization of funds that are donated is such that we will have a tangible outcome on the end of it. And all the funds have now been earmarked specifically to support housing recovery matters and or any other programs as requested by donors specifically. So there's a specific donor request, then we will seek to honor that. But in the mainstream, the funds from the donated funds will be treated with under the shelter recovery program or any other housing-related matters.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says the government has cleared all its outstanding judgment debt to persons who've successfully sued the state. He made the disclosure while speaking on Tuesday during OPM on air.
Judgment debt, where you have a judgment debt against the state, we have paid off everybody. And in fact, we even tell the Attorney Generals, if you know of any pending, tell the lawyers if they want to settle, because funds are available. We want nobody to say that the state owes them money on a settled or case.
Hold on, did I just hear you say that all judgment debts owed by the Jamaican government?
Every single one for the last 5 and more years.
Judgment debt refers to monies that a court of law has ordered a company or person to pay. In March last year, during a meeting of the Standing Finance Committee, Minister Chuck said over $1 billion had been paid in judgment debt for the 2024-25 fiscal year. Minister Chuck says there's an annual budgetary provision of about $800 million to clear judgment debts.
I can tell you, around 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, I literally demanded from Nigel, I need a certain amount. I think it was over 1.4 billion. So we just clear up everybody. And we did. And each year we get about 700, 800 million, and we rarely use up all of it. Sometimes it's about 500-600 million that we pay off.
Delroy Chuck, Justice Minister. Now, Nationwide News understands that founder of the ICWI group, Dennis Lalor, is dead. He was 92 years old. Dennis Lalor is one of the giants of the Caribbean's insurance industry. He was a chartered insurer who built the ICWI group into one of the largest full-service financial institutions in the Caribbean, with operations in Jamaica and throughout the Caribbean. A former chairman of Air Jamaica, who oversaw the divestment of the airline, Dennis Lalor chaired the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission and Jamaica Racing Commission for 11 years. He also chaired the Casino Gaming Commission. In 1990, he was appointed a member of the Privy Council of Jamaica and became a member of the Council of the University of the West Indies. He served as president of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica from 1990 to 1992. An avid sportsman who bred and owned numerous thoroughbred racehorses, Dennis Lalor captained Jamaica's polo team and was president of the Jamaica Polo Club and Kingston Polo Club. He was conferred with the Order of Jamaica in 1994. Stripping an attorney of the privilege to practice would require legislative amendments. That's according to Chairman of the Disciplinary Committee of the General Legal Counsel GLC, King's Counsel Peter Champagny. KC Champagny was speaking with Nationwide News on Tuesday.
What would be required to deal with a situation where you strike off an attorney or revoke an attorney's license that is after being found guilty of more than one offense? That would require legislative change. We do not have that authority to say, okay, there are 7 instances and therefore you are struck from the role of attorneys entitled to practice in the island of Jamaica. I also want to add quickly that infractions sometimes are not egregious. It may be a fine, it may be a reprimand. There are a number of variables at play for us to move in that direction.
The discussion was sparked by the recent arrest of Falmouth-based attorney Debian Samuels. She was charged after the police listed her as a person of interest in a fraud investigation. Samuels was found guilty of professional misconduct by the GLC at least 10 times. This has left some questioning why she's still permitted to practice law and whether attorneys should be allowed to police themselves. The GLC's disciplinary committee is made up of 24 attorneys. However, KC Champagny thinks there should be more diversity in its makeup.
I have no vested interest in seeking to preserve a situation where the composition of the panels are made up of all attorneys. In fact, in other jurisdictions, there is a mixed panel with civilians there alongside attorneys. But having said that, I will tell you that in many, many instances, the view of attorneys at large are that the GLC, as is comprised, is very robust to the point sometimes where we are accused of being over-prosecutorial.
King's Counsel Peter Champagny, chairman of the Disciplinary Committee of the General Legal Counsel. The 4th suspect arrested and charged in a multi-million-dollar fraud case targeting several financial institutions across the island was remanded in custody when he appeared in the Supreme Court on Wednesday. He is 36-year-old Kadeem Reed. Reed is charged with forgery, larceny, and breaches of the Proceeds of Crime Act. The other suspects charged are 30-year-old Chloe Duet, a medical doctor of Cherry Gardens, St. Andrew, 29-year-old Ivana Campbell, an executive assistant of Cedar Grove in Portmore, St. Catherine, and 44-year-old Dwayne Pitta of Olympic Gardens in St. Andrew. All 4 are accused of being part of an organized criminal syndicate that carried out an elaborate and highly sophisticated multi-million-dollar fraud scheme against several banks and financial institutions between January 2023 and April 2024. Police theorize they carried out the fraud through the submission of fraudulently obtained genuine documents and fraudulent identification documents. These allow them to bypass security protocols and identity confirmation measures at the banks. All 4 accused are expected to return to court on September 17. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:19.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
In regional and international news this morning, regional news: Cuba has completely run out of fuel, triggering the largest wave of street protests in Havana in decades. Energy officials announced that diesel and oil reserves are entirely depleted. The shortage has forced 22-hour blackouts, grinding public transport, schools, and hospitals to a halt. Protesters filled the capital overnight, blocking streets with burning trash and chanting for power. The energy collapse follows a strict U.S. oil blockade aimed at the island's communist leadership. Earlier this week, the U.S. reiterated its offer of sending $100 million in aid to the country in exchange for what it describes as meaningful reforms to Cuba's communist system. International: China's Xi Jinping told U.S. President Donald Trump that trade talks are making progress at the start of a 2-day summit on Thursday. He, however, cautioned that disagreement over Taiwan could send relations down a dangerous path and even lead to conflict. Xi's remarks on Taiwan, the democratically governed island claimed by Beijing, came in a closed-door meeting of the leaders of the world's 2 largest economies that ran for more than 2 hours. They represented a stark, if not unprecedented, warning during a pomp-filled occasion that otherwise appeared friendly and relaxed. The U.S. summary of the talks made no mention of Taiwan. Instead, it focused on the leaders' shared desire to reopen the key waterway of the Strait of Hormuz and Xi's apparent interest in buying American oil to reduce China's dependence on Middle East supplies. With Trump's approval ratings dented by a war with Iran that shows no signs of abating, the first visit by U.S. President to China in nearly a decade has taken on added significance as he searches for economic wins. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
Super Center, everything for your home and more.
Bring back the fun of shopping. Discover the best finds in every aisle of amazing items. For your kitchen, your living room, your bedroom, or any room, Azan Super Center has that perfect touch to elevate your space to the next level. Our team is ready to help you find what you are looking for you or someone else. So stop by our Crossroads store today and rediscover the fun of shopping.
Azan Super Center, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Transgem Highways is having a 50% Mother's Day discount on T-Tag packages. Get yours from the teller at the toll booth for only $1,250, including a $500 toll credit from May 4 to May 30, 2026. When you get your T-Tag, top up to keep using it. Choose whichever method of topping up is most convenient for you. Go through quicker with a T-Tag every time on Transgem Highways.
The Philharmonic Orchestra of Jamaica presents Encore, a harmonic reawakening, captivating music from the classical masters, movies, and our homeland. Saturday, May 16 and Sunday, May 17 at the Little Theatre. Conductor Franklin E. Halliburton. Guest soloist Sashika Brown. Tickets $5,000 pre-sold, $6,000 at the gate. Reserved box seats $7,500. Tickets at Fontana Pharmacy, Waterloo, and Sovereign, and the Music Mart. The Philharmonic Orchestra of Jamaica in concert, May 16 and 17 at the Little Theatre.
Time now for your morning sports. Champions Cavalier and Portmore United wrapped up the last two semi-final spots in the Wren Nephew Jamaica Premier League following identical 2-0 wins in second leg quarterfinals at the National Stadium on Wednesday night. A goal in each half from Dwayne Allen and Christopher Ainsworth did the business for Cavalier as they advanced 4-2 on aggregate. Meanwhile, Portmore needed a pair of second half strikes from Tarek Jimenez and Rashawn Small to see off Racing United. They progressed 5-3 on aggregate. The first legs of the semi-finals are set for the National Stadium on Sunday, with the Cavalier facing Montego Bay United and Portmore battling Mount Pleasant Academy. Manchester City remained firmly in the English Premier League title race thanks to a routine 3-0 win over Crystal Palace at the Etihad on Wednesday. Antoine Semenyo, Omar Marmoush and Savinho combined to do the business for the citizens, who've now reduced Arsenal's lead to 2 points with 2 games remaining in the season.
Oh, that's really clever. Semenyo! Genius from Phil Foden. Brilliant. To set up Antoine Semenyo. And Manchester City get the lead. Marmoush landed across his body. That's the finish he wanted. Wonderfully executed by Omar Marmoush. What a pass. Savinho! It's a night when the quality of the assists has been at the very top order for Manchester City. A third goal to seal the 3 points tonight.
Manchester City are now on 77 points to Arsenal's 79. City are away to Bournemouth next Tuesday before ending the season at home to Aston Villa, while Arsenal host already relegated Burnley on Monday at the Emirates before closing out at Crystal Palace. Finally, in your morning sports, defending champions Spanish Town Parliamentary produced a commanding final day performance to retain their title at the InSports Central Region Primary Schools Athletics Championships. Spanish Town amassed an impressive 376 points to comfortably outpace Nagahead Primary with 371 points and Greater Portmore Primary third on 225. Spanish Town set 2 championship records in the 800 meters. Atalia Harriott, running unchallenged for most of the race, dominated the Girls Open to win in 2 minutes 36.95 seconds to set a new record. Moments later, teammate Jamar Amos delivered another standout performance, storming to victory in the Boys Open in a record-breaking 2 minutes 18.66 seconds. Spanish Town's dominance continued in the relays as the school established a new record in the Sprint Medley Open, clocking 1 minute 53.71 seconds. They also rewrote the record books in the Boys Open 4x200 meters relay, stopping the clock at 1 minute 43.27 seconds. Now, despite starting the day in third place, coach of Spanish Town, Naraya Barrett, says they had no doubt they would retain the title. In the field events, Delonte Brown of St. John's Primary delivered one of the breakout performances of the meet when he soared to a record 1.59 meters in the Boys Open high jump. Spanish Town's Akeem Richards also impressed, taking second place with a clearance of 1.52 meters. With the Central Region Championships now completed, attention will shift to the Eastern Region Championships, which gets underway at the same venue on Thursday and will run through Saturday. And that's it for your morning sports.
you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
In business this morning, the RJR Gleaner Communications Group says it has signed a binding agreement to sell its historic building at 7 North Street in Kingston. In a statement on Tuesday, the company said the deal with LPSR Limited also includes adjacent lots and parking areas. The property was advertised for $1.3 billion. The transaction is expected to be completed within 45 days, subject to standard closing conditions. RJR Gleaner says the sale forms part of a wider strategic restructuring initiative aimed at streamlining operations, improving efficiency, and boosting long-term shareholder value. The company notes that the move will support the continued consolidation of its operations at its Lyndhurst Road campus, allowing greater focus on its core print, digital, and broadcast businesses. Staff currently based at the North Street location will be relocated to Lyndhurst Road. RJR Gleaner says it will make further disclosures in keeping with the rules of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. In Australia, the federal court ruled on Thursday that supermarket giant Coles has misled consumers with fake discounts. The landmark decision could meet significant penalties. The country's consumer watchdog sued Coles over its down promotions on hundreds of items, arguing the supermarket had temporarily raised prices before the offers. In its case, the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission said it had monitored prices for 245 products, ranging from toothpaste to biscuits over the 15-month period between February 2022 and May 2023. Of 14 sample products and prices submitted as part of its case, the presiding judge ruled that 13 did not represent a genuine saving and would have misled an ordinary consumer. Justice Michael O'Brien, who is also presiding against a similar case against the supermarket Woolworths, said the products needed to have been sold at the higher price for at least 12 weeks before the discount could be considered genuine. Coles has rejected the allegation and says it will be reviewing the judgment. In foreign exchange trading this morning, the Jamaican dollar has lost 11 cents and will open against the benchmark US dollar, selling for an average $159.24. Against the Canadian, the Jamaican has lost $1.68 and will open selling for an average $117.57. And finally, the Jamaican has lost $2.33 and will begin trading for an average $216.49 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:32.
Digicel Postpaid keeps you better connected. Get the Samsung Galaxy A26 for only $25,000 when you sign up for Postpaid. Plans start as low as $4,000 plus GCT. Visit digiceljamaica.com for participating locations. Conditions apply. Digicel, powered by you, connected by us.
This makes no sense, people. Why waste time in the manual lane when you can just breeze through the T-tag lane? Plus, you pay a lower toll rate in the T-tag lane. You can easily get your T-tag from any toll collector. Just have to remember to top up by adding funds on the My T-tag app or by WhatsApp.
Save money and save time. If you don't have a tag, you are waste time. Yeah, your seatbelt buckle and you're driving safe. Use up your T-tag, drive on safe.
Drive like the winner you deserve to be with the T-tag every time.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place
song?
Yeah.
G's and P's and G's and P's.
The oldies with goodies.
Mr. King. Mr. King. These two songs. Hold on. Turn the time already, don't forget. So I say to you quickly that these songs remind me of the legendary former KC man, Alan Magnus.
Yeah.
Because the second one, All Is But Goodies, was the theme song for All Is But Goodies. Then the John Denver, that the King of played too. John Denver, these were the songs that Alan played in the mornings as you were going to. So I was going to primary school.
Me too.
Yeah, man. Legendary Alan Magnus. Yeah, man. Desmond, morning, sir. I don't answer nothing more. A ton of time, and I run out the clock. Tana, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tana.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. A happy Thursday to everybody who has come in to join us. You know, I have to tell my people hello.
I just drink the mint tea a while ago. The bushmint.
Yes.
Yeah, man. The bushmint nice and in my body. Now I just feel
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
I love a good mint tea. Love a good mint tea. My parents have one in their backyard. Anywho. Germans say on the farm. You know, the other day Kimon gave me a pear tree. So that has been planted. And I need to get a Jamaican apple tree. So wherever I can find one, where can I find Jermaine King? Where can I find one of those Jermaine and George? Yeah, I need an apple.
Okay, Jamaican apple or Tahiti?
Yes.
A simple thing, man. Simple thing.
Yes.
They sell them.
I need one of those.
They sell them at, there's a lady, Hope Garden sell them. And they sell them at Portmore Mall. There's a lady who sells a lot of plants, so she has them as well.
Yeah.
And we're going to ask our friend Susan. Susan have an apple tree. Oh, she have flowers. She don't have no fruit trees. Okay.
Fruit trees.
But Hope Gardens, man. Hope Gardens.
Very well. But on my mind this morning, so George and listeners, YouTubers, so much is said during sectoral debate contributions, plus all the rest that is out there in Jamaica and the world to consume because it's placed on social media, that sometimes some elements that matter will get lost. Firstly, I will always appreciate moves by our leaders that says to me, we see you, we hear you on the day-to-day life challenges in your country that oftentimes doesn't benefit from an intense strategic policy response, for example. And I really think, George, that the presentation by the health minister during the sectoral debate captured many of those elements, and we spoke to some of them yesterday. And I was having a conversation Tuesday evening and saying, you know, there are so many girlies out there that really cannot afford sanitary napkins or pads. It's a real thing. And I recall George going somewhere one time, a couple of years ago, and I passed this young lady going into the shop. And I purchased what I was purchasing. And on my way out, she stopped me. And you know what she asked me? If I had any change left that I could give to her so she can make up to buy a pack of pad. Her period started and she didn't have enough to purchase the well-needed sanitary napkins. And I say well-needed because it is a need.
Essential.
It is essential. Girls and women for at least 6 days or so every single month must have their supply. And just to put it plainly, George and listeners, you're using at least 3 or 4 per day. 4 per day times 6 days is 24 sanitary napkins. So you need at least 3 packs of a 10-pack to be on the safe side. And the truth is, some cannot afford this monthly need.
Yeah.
It's not front of mind for so many, and that's understandable because it's Jamaica. But having sanitary napkins is a need, and it's a reality that a lot of girls out there, young women, just cannot afford it. Period poverty does exist in Jamaica. Yeah. It's around us. Many of us, it's not front of mind, but it's there. So when a health minister brings it to the floor of the parliament and announces an initiative meant to help girls from families who struggle to purchase these supplies, you must applaud it.
Yes.
It may not matter to some, like they're asking, why is this a big deal? Why does it matter? But to the girls, George, that miss school, it matters.
Yeah.
To the girls that find themselves in the uncomfortable situation of having to make a pad stretch, it matters. And some of you might not know what I mean when I say make a pad stretch. I mean wearing one sanitary napkin for the whole day, even though it needs to be changed, but you just don't have enough. So you have no choice but to wear that one for the whole day and make it stretch. And that should never be the case. It is encouraged that you change one about every 3 hours. But some girls out there just don't have enough to have that approach in how they wear a sanitary napkin. So as I said, this information might be a little bit much for some, but that's the reality out there. And that's why it was important for our health minister to bring a matter like that to the House of Representatives and indicate that the ministry is taking an active role in addressing such an issue. So what did he announce? He said, period poverty, one of 10 areas that will get attention under the government's new initiative, a $500 million social determinants of healthcare fund. And under the fund, the ministry will be embarking on a multi-sectoral menstrual health equity pilot initiative to distribute menstrual hygiene kits and conduct educational sessions in 8 schools with high concentrations of PATH registered girls using an integrated school health approach. The 18-month pilot, estimated at $50 million, is expected to benefit 2,000 girls, while also reaching boys, teachers, parents, and school health personnel through education and community engagement activities. And it was announced that a multi-sectoral technical working group, co-chaired by the Health Ministry and Education Ministry, will be convened to coordinate the pilot and produce an evaluation report that will guide policy development and programmatic rollout. Now, I note the health personnel education and community engagement to this pilot program that is set to get underway. And you know why that's important? Mm-hmm. I've come to realize that some men take an insensitive approach to periods.
Too many.
The women they lay with, George, and happily eat meals from at every other point of the month are scorned during their period.
Yeah.
And the stories I've heard, I will not share here, but just to say that some men believe that their wives and girlfriends during that time, they're unclean, you need to sleep in a different bed, you cannot cook me any meals, and some other really, really insensitive stuff that, as I said, I'm not going to share here. So there's a gap there that the ministry will have to fill when their health personnel take on this community engagement, public education aspect of it. Because oftentimes, George, it takes the authorities being out there on the ground, because otherwise the misconceptions continue among those who on their own will just not take the time to understand anything about what's happening with the bodies of their girlfriends, their wives, their moms, and their daughters. Mm-hmm. And this is important too, to help the men of tomorrow, or boys, not to grow up to apply the same approach as some grown men are doing now to the very women they call girlfriends and will happily lay with and have them cook their Sunday dinner at other points of the month. Mm-hmm. Now, finally, I'd suggest that our clinics be a source of aid for young women of lesser means who face period poverty. I don't believe a sanitary napkin box exists in all of our health centers now, and I believe it should, because women and men can get condoms for free at these facilities. Mm-hmm. Why not pads too? Mm-hmm. Perhaps replenishing the box can be a joint venture with private sector partners, since I'm sure the sustainability question will arise. But in closing, I sleep good at nights knowing that my tax dollars goes towards initiatives like these, and I'm looking forward to the rollout of it.
Yeah, and that's why it was important to bring that out in the interview with him yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, because there are so many other things that we get bogged down by, but this is so very important. You know, quickly, I'll tell you, a friend of mine, she was eternally grateful for something I thought was just a random act. I was going home, walking through the Spanish Town shopping center, and I saw her walking. She was in her school uniform. You remember I told you?
Yes.
And her knapsack was behind her, low, like hiding the back of her skirt. Mm-hmm. So I said, "What happened to you?" And she said, "No, Mama, good." I said, "No, man, what happened to you?" And she said that she had her period and she messed up her skirt. So I said, "Okay, so where?" She said, "Well, she never have no
sanitary napkin."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "No, Mara, you wait do. Go to the restroom and I'll go buy it for you and bring it around." She see the buy it for me? I said, "Yeah." Yes. I mean, what is in buy? What man? I go drop off me touch one pack of pod? And she said, "All right." So I say, so she went to the restroom. I went into the town center pharmacy inside the Spanish Town shopping center, right at the food court, and I bought it. People look at me weird. I'm like, them people I eat that, you know. I was in school. I was in my khaki uniform, and I bought, and I went to the restroom, knocked on the main door, and she cracked it, and I put it in, and then she washed out the back of her skirt, and she turned the skirt around so the wet part was now at the front.
Yeah.
And she went home. And she was like, "Boy, I had 2 minutes." I mean, I said,
because George, there's also that aspect of it where they must say, "Yeah, mama man." If you're purchasing a sanitary napkin or seen with it in your hand, listen, I'll tell you, my partner freely goes into the supermarket. I'm there. He picks up the sanitary napkin. He goes to the cashier, buys it, and we walk out of the store like it's an ordinary day.
Talking on a video call, and he say, "All right, which one of them?" I said, "I'm confused now. Which one?"
He
with
does
wings,
that too. Which
with
one
this,
you want?
That? Exactly.
Yeah, but there are men and boys out there who are educated to believe that, listen, you shake your mama, you take up part in a supermarket. don't do that. So even that needs to be dispelled as well. So the community health personnel who will be going on this public education and doing community engagement, that part of the conversation needs to be had as well.
Yeah.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:49.
JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union offers financial solutions for every stage in your life: savings, auto loans, mortgages, and more. The temperature by JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is
27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
District 81 Caribbean Toastmasters Conference comes to Jamaica May 13 to 17 at the AC Hotel in Kingston under the theme Caribbean Roots Igniting a Bold Future. Register today at Eventbrite for a raft of educational sessions, speech contests, opening ceremony, gala presentation, and more. Caribbean Toastmasters Conference, where Caribbean leaders and speakers level up and where you can too. Join us, be empowered and inspired. For information, call 876-325-5383.
Still looking for a career opportunity in security? Join us at Quest Security Services Job Fair at Harmony Beach Park in Montego Bay this Saturday, May 16, and again on Saturday, May 30 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Bring your valid ID, TRN, resume, recommendations, and clean police record. Take the next step toward a career in security with Quest Security Services. May 16 and May 30, Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay. Quest Security Services, Total Protection Group.
For 25 years, Digicel has been keeping Jamaica better connected. From late night calls to the texts, clicks, and moments that keep us close.
Hi, babes.
A network built in Jamaica for Jamaicans. But connection has never been just about the network. It's about the people behind every hello.
Yo, my general.
Celebrating 25 years. Digicel, powered by you, connected by us.
Time now for Street Smarts 1 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Morning, George. Morning, Tony. Listening, everyone. George, remember Tia?
Yes, man. Tia. Oh, yeah. Tia. That's how we started with Tia, yeah?
All righty. Motoring public, they just tell you it's a good, quick little update here, just to let you know if you're along, depending on where you are, trying to go to Crossroad is not really a problem, right? You know, Flype Road, Flypen Road is not too bad. Going up to Crossroads, Caledonia is a good vehicular movement. If you're making it across Marasco, you're going to see a number of vehicles there, but it's moving. Arnold Road, coming from Connelly Avenue, which runs from Arnold Road, Marasco Road to go across to Arnold Road. That's pretty good movement. And Camp Road, coming up Camp Road, from South Camp Road, it's also good vehicular movement. Even going through Vineyard Town, Marion Road, Deanery Road, there are a number of vehicles moving, but no major delays yet. Upper Ellison Road, Lower Ellison Road, Winwood Road going across, quite busy, quite active as you make your way across to Victoria Avenue from Winwood Road, then onto East Queen Street. It's pretty good movement for the time being. No doubt, as the morning progresses, there will be much more traffic in many other spaces. So until 7:18, it's back to you, George. Oh, by the way, a lot of work was taking place in the vicinity of Sir Flosser Gospel Highway last night. They were doing some work in the vicinity of the median. I suspect that they are working on the lights there and improving visibility in that particular area. So there you go. Until 7:18, George, it's back to you.
Thank you, Ludlow, as we got a shot there of Spanish Town, where Burke Road meets Young Street. See the Spanish Town Shopping Center in the shot? And yeah. All right. So there we go.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Hilo.
Where is that?
That's the Spanish Town Shopping Center. I need to tell you a joke.
What did you see just now?
Hilo.
You never see nothing else?
No. Oh, what you see?
Oh, put it back up, Jeremy.
King, put it back.
Put it back.
Put it back, King.
Oh, it gone.
No, man.
Oh, there it is.
The garbage.
Yes.
Yeah, behind the red car.
Yes.
Yeah, man. That's a regular thing.
Oh, Lord.
Come on and salt that Spanish town. So the place there. All right. Word of the day. Oh, God. What an eyesore.
Your word of the day is spelled C-O-M-E-S-T-I-B-L-E. Spelled C-O-M-E-S-T-I-B-L-E.
Comestible. Comestible. Comestible.
Comestible is your word of the day. It's an adjective and it means edible or eatable. Comestible, your word of the day. And let's see, dictionary.com saying the word was first recorded between 1475 and 1485, comestible. And to use it in a sentence, the table was spread with all kinds of comestibles. We have brought back some fascinating new comestibles. And a final one, visiting a market with a top chef is an exciting experience since every comestible prompts a recipe. Comestible is your word of the day, meaning again, edible or eatable. All right, our features now at the top of the hour of the news.
If you are over 55 years, black and male, you are at a higher risk of getting a stroke. A stroke occurs when the blood supply to part of your brain is interrupted or reduced, preventing brain tissue from getting oxygen and nutrients. Brain cells begin to die in minutes. In Coming of Age today, what to do if someone is having a stroke. Trainer at St. John Ambulance Service, Gemma Bignall, recommends the use of the FAST method to check for the most common symptoms of a stroke.
Strokes are most commonly caused by a clot that blocks the flow of blood to a part of the brain, although some strokes can be caused by a ruptured blood vessel that causes bleeding into the brain. If you suspect someone is having a stroke, you can use the FAST guide to identify the key signs. F stands for facial weakness. Look at their mouth or eye. They may be droopy and can't smile evenly. A, arm weakness. Ask them to raise both their arms. They may only be able to raise one. S, speech problems. They're unable to speak clearly or might not be able to understand what you're saying to them. Ask them a question such as, what is your name? Can they respond appropriately?
And T, time. If the answer to any of the above questions is yes, call 110 right away or get the person to a medical facility, making note of the time when symptoms started. Ms. Bignall says it's important not to give the person anything to drink or eat.
While waiting for help to arrive, keep them comfortable, supported, and reassure them. Do not give them anything to eat or drink because it may be hard for them to swallow. Keep monitoring their level of response until help arrives. If they become unresponsive, prepare to treat for an unresponsive casualty.
Sometimes a stroke happens gradually, but you're likely to have one or more sudden symptoms which include numbness or weakness in your face, arm or leg, especially on one side, confusion or trouble understanding other people, difficulty speaking, trouble seeing with one or both eyes, problems walking or staying balanced or coordinated, dizziness, and severe headaches that come on for no reason. If you have these symptoms, call 110 or get to a medical facility, even if you're not sure you're having a stroke. Stroke deaths in Jamaica have reached 2,479, or 13.62% of total death in 2018. That, when adjusted for age, the death rate was 65.41 per 100,000 of population, ranking Jamaica 100th in the world based on World Health Organization data. Learn the warning signs of a stroke and let your family and friends know too. If you have any medical conditions, wear a medical bracelet or any other identification that lists them, your allergies, and any medication you take. That's it for Coming of Age today.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
When dealing with coworkers, see how many of these rules you can remember. This is Lifestyle Pages on Conduct with Coworkers. 1. In a business office, be businesslike. No gossiping, especially about persons who are not present to defend themselves or their character or reputation. No excessive chatting or loud laughing. Work is not a tea party. 2. Respect the work and property of your company and the property of your co-workers. 3. Do not establish friendships too quickly, especially in the early part of your employment. In lunching with your co-workers, do not discuss your boss or the business or to critique others in the company. 4. Be politely reserved in all your business relations. Learn to curb your temper, no matter how you may be provoked. Emotional outbursts, loud speech, and raucous laughter are the heights of poor manners and a lack of home training and proper nurturing. 5. Always leave the restroom clean and tidy for your co-workers, clients, and strangers. It sends the right message about your company. And 6. Never forget the everyday courtesy of please and thank you. I'm Valerie, and those were Lifestyle Pages.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Distracted driving costs lives. Keep your eyes on the road and arrive alive. The time brought to you by the Jamaica Information Service is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news today, Thursday, May 14, 2026, insurance industry giant and the founder of the ICWI Group, Dennis Lalor, is dead. 4 STETS students involved in attack on schoolmates slapped with criminal charges. ODPEM says limited spending of hurricane relief funds reflects prudent financial management. And in international news, China warns the US that mishandling of Taiwan could spark conflict.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Nationwide News understands that founder of the ICWI Group, Dennis Hugh Lalor, is dead. He was 91. Dennis Lalor was one of the giants of the Caribbean's insurance industry. He was a chartered insurer who built the ICWI Group into one of the largest full-service financial institutions in the region, with operations in Jamaica and across the Caribbean. A former chairman of Air Jamaica who oversaw the divestment of the airline, Dennis Lalor chaired the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission and the Jamaica Racing Commission for 11 years. He also chaired the Casino Gaming Commission. In 1990, he was appointed a member of the Privy Council of Jamaica and became a member of the Council of the University of the West Indies. He served as president of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica from 1990 to 1992. An avid sportsman who bred and owned numerous thoroughbred racehorses, Dennis Lalor captained Jamaica's polo team and was president of the Jamaica Polo Club and Kingston Polo Club. He was conferred with the Order of Jamaica in 1994. 4 students of St. Elizabeth Technical High School have been hit with criminal charges following a series of violent incidents at the institution last week. The students are between 13 and 16 years old. They have been charged with assault occasioning bodily harm in connection with an attack on a 15-year-old schoolmate. Police say the incident occurred between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. last Wednesday, May 6, on the school's compound in Santa Cruz. Reports are that on that day, a dispute between 2 boys escalated into a fight in which one of them was injured. Subsequently, several other fights broke out at the school, including in the presence of senior members of the school administration. This prompted the suspension of classes last Thursday as administrators sought to restore order. The police have not indicated when the 4 students are set to appear before the court. The government is set to spend $145 million as part of a drought mitigation plan for the agriculture industry ahead of an expected dry period. Portfolio Minister Floyd Green says consultations with the Met Service suggest a drought is likely in the coming months.
Madam Speaker, I see the Minister of Water is here and he's shared a report with me from the Meteorological Service, which has projected that Jamaica will experience drier conditions and elevated heat levels with the possibility of a protracted drought. In this financial year, RADA will intensify our drought mitigation strategy. We are going to be embarking on a 145 million mini water catchment pond construction program. What that means, members, in our high production zones, we're going to be building out water catchment ponds. And we're targeting those parishes that are known for drought.
Minister Green was making his contribution to the sectoral debate in the House of Representatives on Wednesday. The country has faced lengthy and more frequent droughts in recent years as new climate realities impact the island.
We're going to have to start some trucking, and we're going to be purchasing 2 more water trucks for the NIC to serve underserved areas. There are in some communities that you have catchment tanks already. We want to rehabilitate those catchment tanks and use them for agriculture. We're going to be distributing plastic and grass mulch because we also have to change our planting patterns so that people are keeping the moisture in the soil. And we'll be providing some drip irrigation systems and water tanks. In fact, we're starting to roll out these interventions now. And members of Parliament, you are going to be a part of that rollout. So today you will get an allocation to help your farmers deal with the oncoming drought.
Meanwhile, Minister Green says the government will pursue innovative irrigation solutions as a long-term measure to combat more frequent dry spells.
The bigger problem is, where will the water of the future come from? Yes, we are the land of wood and water, but water is always in demand. And that is why the National Irrigation Commission will start this year to truly explore non-traditional water sources. We're going to be looking at desalination facilities to use that to provide irrigated water for our farmers. We're also going to be looking at grey water-based technologies as we drive our long-term water resilience.
The Agriculture Minister says work will be done to increase the amount of arable land that has access to irrigation water.
We are going to continue building out irrigation. In fact, we have earmarked 6,000 hectares to be built out over the next 5 years. This will bring our country to over 50% of arable land that has water. And what are those projects? The Pedro Plains irrigation expansion, which there is budget for that this year to continue to build out irrigation that will serve over 4,000 hectares. And we have 4 smaller projects that will serve about 2,000 hectares. I want to assure the farmers in Essex Valley, farmers very familiar to Member Witter and Member Bunting, that we will be turning on their irrigation supply before the end of 2026.
Floyd Green, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. The government's Land Administration Capacity Enhancement Project, or LANCEP, will help to address the shortage of technicians and surveying professionals in the field. So says the Minister with responsibility for land titling and settlements, Robert Montague.
Jamaica has approximately 900 parcels of land, of which approximately 500,000 is titled, approximately 55%. The National Land Agency of Jamaica has 2 programs which the Koreans are investing heavily in systematic, but there is also the ad hoc program. The systematic program is where the government comes in, does all the surveys, all the legal work, and then there's a bill at the end of it. On the ad hoc part, the citizen is responsible to coming to us to doing the technical work, and we walk them through the process. That process is hindered in many ways by a shortage of trained and skilled technicians and professionals. This project is about to correct a lot of that.
Robert Montague, Minister with responsibility for land titling and settlements. LANCEP is an initiative designed to strengthen Jamaica's land administration framework through institutional innovation, technical capacity building, and advancement in geospatial technologies. It was launched on Tuesday in a partnership between the Holness Administration and the Korea International Cooperation Agency. It will be funded through a grant of $9 million or just over 1.4 billion Jamaican dollars from the agency. Through LANCEP, the government intends to establish the Land Administration Irrigation Innovation Center on Harbour Street in downtown Kingston. The government says the facility will provide structured training and technical development opportunities for high-level policymakers, managerial personnel and operational officers across the public sector. The man leading the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM Commander Alvin Gale, has sought to explain why less than $30 million of the over $1 billion donated to the Hurricane Melissa relief effort was spent in the first 6 months since disaster struck the western end of the country. He was responding to findings from a real-time audit done by the Auditor General's Department. Mahiri Stewart reports.
The report from the Auditor General's Department was tabled in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, May 12. According to the Auditor General, Pamela Monroe Ellis, less than 2% of the over $1.4 billion in hurricane donations has been spent up to April 2. That's just over $26 million. And this is 6 months after Melissa devastated western parishes. But, speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Wednesday, ODPEM's Director General, Commander Alvin Gale, says the lack of spending reflected the office's prudent financial management.
At the material time, we had spent some $26 million to support the government-directed roof repair program under the shelter recovery program. We had ceased spending directly from that account, as we would have written to the Ministry of Finance to see the regularizations of the funds as is required. Since then, we have spent some $135 million to support the program. We must also understand that at the time's material, some $400 million worth of building material and sundries were donated to the program, which when we looked at it, it would have been prudent for us to retain the funds and cause for the donated materials to be used in the execution of the program. So it's against that background, only $26 million would have been spent.
ODPEM adds that the donated funds were intended to support national relief interventions, which formed part of the shelter recovery program. Commander Gale says funds to support the program have now been earmarked.
There's also the matter concerning the deployment of modular housing solutions. So to support the modular housing solutions, there is some $600 million earmarked. To support that program, more specifically, we are speaking about the construction of the concrete bases that need to attend to the deployment of these housing solutions. So another $600 million has been earmarked to support, again, the shelter recovery program.
And Commander Gale says most of the funds will go towards housing recovery.
The overarching idea of the utilization of funds that are donated is such that we'll have a tangible outcome on the end of it. And all the funds have now been earmarked specifically to support housing recovery matters and or any other programs as requested by donors specifically. So there's a specific donor request, then we will seek to honor that. But in the mainstream, the funds from the donated funds will be treated with under the shelter recovery program or any other housing related matters.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Mahiri. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says the government has cleared all its outstanding judgment debt to persons who've successfully sued the state. He made the disclosure while speaking on Tuesday during OPM on air.
Judgment debt, where you have a judgment debt against the state, we have paid off everybody. And in fact, we even tell the Attorney Generals, if you know of any pending, tell the lawyers if they want to settle because funds are available. We want nobody to say that the state owes them money on a settled or case.
Hold on, did I just hear you say that all judgment debts owed by the Jamaican government?
Every single one for the last 5 and more years.
Judgment debt refers to monies that a court of law has ordered a company or person to pay. In March last year, during a meeting of the Standing Finance Committee, Minister Chuck said over $1 billion had been paid in judgment debt for the 2024-25 fiscal year. He says there's an annual budgetary provision of about $800 million to clear judgment debt.
I can tell you, around 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, I literally demanded from Nigel, I need a certain amount. I think it was over 1.4 billion. So we just clear up everybody. And we did. And each year we get about 700, 800 million, and we rarely use up all of it. Sometimes it's about 500-600 million that we pay off.
Delroy Chuck, Justice Minister. Stripping an attorney of the privilege to practice would require legislative amendments. That's according to Chairman of the Disciplinary Committee of the General Legal Council GLC, King's Counsel Peter Champagny. KC Champagny was speaking with Nationwide News on Tuesday.
what would be required to deal with a situation where you strike off an attorney or revoke an attorney's license. That is after being found guilty of more than one offense. That would require legislative change. We do not have that authority to say, okay, there are 7 instances and therefore you are struck from the role of attorneys entitled to practice in the island of Jamaica. I also want to add quickly that infractions sometimes are not egregious. It may be a fine, it may be a reprimand. There are a number of variables at play for us to move in that direction.
The discussion was sparked by the recent arrest of Falmouth-based attorney Debbie Ann Samuels. She was charged after the police listed her as a person of interest in a fraud investigation. Samuels was found guilty of professional misconduct by the JLC at least 10 times. This has left some questioning why she is still permitted to practice law and whether attorneys should be allowed to police themselves. The GLC's disciplinary committee is made up of 24 attorneys. However, Casey Champagny thinks there should be more diversity in its makeup.
I have no vested interest in seeking to preserve a situation where the composition of the panels are made up of all attorneys. In fact, in other jurisdictions, there is a mixed panel with civilians there alongside attorneys. But having said that, I will tell you that in many, many instances, the view of attorneys at large are that the GLC, as is comprised, is very robust to the point sometimes where we are accused of being over-prosecutorial.
King's Counsel Peter Champagny, chairman of the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Counsel. The 4th suspect arrested and charged in a multi-million-dollar fraud case targeting several financial institutions across the island was remanded in custody when he appeared before the Supreme Court on Wednesday. He is 36-year-old Kadeem Reed. Reed is charged with forgery, larceny, and breaches of the Proceeds of Crime Act. The other suspects charged are 30-year-old Chloe Dewey, a medical doctor of Cherry Gardens in St. Andrew, 29-year-old Ivana Campbell, an executive assistant of Cedar Grove in Portmore St. Catherine, and 44-year-old Dwayne Peter of Olympic Gardens in St. Andrew. All 4 are accused of being part of an organized criminal syndicate that carried out an elaborate and highly sophisticated multi-million-dollar fraud scheme against several banks and financial institutions between January 2023 and April 2024. Police theorized they carried out the fraud through the submission of fraudulently obtained genuine documents and fraudulent identification documents. These allowed them to bypass security protocols and identify confirmation measures at the banks. All 4 accused are set to return to court on September 17. Road repair on Oakland Crescent and Oakland Road in St. Andrew are set to resume on May 14. That's according to the National Works Agency. The works fall under the Shared Prosperity Through Accelerated Improvement or Road Network or SPARK program. The NWA's Communications and Customer Services Manager Stephen Shaw says the resumption comes after pipeline installation issues were resolved. These will see the contractor China Harbor Engineering Company Limited check completing the $92 million project. The works will include repairs to sidewalks and V-drains, as well as curbs and channels. New water lines, asphaltic concrete surfaces, and a drainage system are also set to be improved during the project. The National Environment and Planning Agency NEPA continues to make efforts to locate a number of white-faced capuchin monkeys seen in a video rummaging through garbage in a community in St. Elizabeth. Despite several coordinated searches, efforts to capture the animals have been unsuccessful. NEPA is making an appeal to members of the public to report any sighting of the monkeys. The public is advised not to catch them as they can become aggressive and may carry dangerous pathogens. Anyone with information about the white-faced capuchin monkey is being asked to contact NEPA at 876-754-7540 or 1-888-991-5005. To international news now. And in the UK, Health Secretary Wes Streeting resigned from Keir Starmer's government, saying he has lost confidence in the Prime Minister. In a letter to the Prime Minister, which Streeting published online, he says, quote, "Where we need vision, we have a vacuum. Where we need direction, we have drift end quote. Streeting has not yet triggered a leadership challenge, but he tells Starmer it is now clear that you will not lead the Labour Party into the next general election. He says what comes next should be a battle of ideas that needs to be broad and that needs the best possible field of candidates. Earlier, the UK's Chancellor Rachel Reeves told the BBC that a leadership contest would plunge the country into chaos. Starmer is battling to save his jobs as scores of Labour MPs urge him to resign after last week's heavy election losses, and it comes as Angela Rayner, seen as a potential challenger to Starmer, resolved her tax affairs with the tax authorities after settling £40,000 in unpaid stamp duty. That's the news.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:18.
Rent or buy your hurricane supplies from Total Tools. Visit 102 Main Street, Outaris, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston 5, or Lot C6, Drax Hall, St. Anne's Bay. The temperature brought to you by Total Tools Jamaica is
27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Already have a T-tag for your vehicle? Just top it up and go through. You can now conveniently add funds to your T-tag on WhatsApp. Just save our T-tag WhatsApp number 876-355-3336 and send us a message when you want to top up. Top up your T-tag and continue to go through quicker and cheaper on Transjam highways.
Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Hi again, George, and to our listeners, our visitors, everyone tuned in. Morning, land, air, sea, all the social media platform. Morning. Well, it's really bright and sunny, blue skies, and the mornings have been pretty warm, and so it seems we're heading. We're going to have a very hot summer. In the meantime, if you are a lot of people trying to find ways of not getting into Half a Tree, because Half a Tree Square is quite busy. But if I was driving and I want to get to Half a Tree, I would be driving especially if you're coming along Mullines Road. I would find ways of bypassing that. And a lot of roads you can take, apart from Tarn Drive, Woodland, you can make that turn off by Waltham, or you can go through Seaward Drive and make it up Bay Farm Road. Is always moving, so you can use that route and you go across to Easing. There is some traffic there, but it moves much better than going through Half a Tree Square. And then you can make it through really Richmond Park and go across to Lyndhurst Road, and depending if you want to get back to New Kingston, Cargill Avenue is another option. Has traffic, but it moves, and then you would bypass Half a Tree. And it's a similar situation, those of you trying to make it up to Manor Park and all these areas, instead of going towards Dunrobin. You can also go to, go across to Sunrise, then through Whitehall, then go across to, they call it Cassava Piece. So then you make it up to Manor Park. So there are areas that you can use, and going through places like Meadowbrook Estate, you want to go across to Red Hills Road, you have Kenhill Drive, you have, different areas in Marvelly that you can take you across to Mullines Road. So, but normally speaking, the main roads are always congested at this time. Waterloo Road congested, as in Mullines Road, Red Hills Road. All these roads have a lot of traffic at this particular point because it's a peak hour. So it's our second report for the morning. As usual, link properly, maneuver your vehicle, and please pay your undivided attention while you're driving. At Street Smart, your safety is our concern. Over to you, George.
Thank you, Ludlow. Ludlow there with Street Smarts 2. Up next, front page.
Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
As we get ready to interview the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green, it's all happening in the UK. The Prime Minister is to say he's under pressure is an understatement. He is facing the possibility of a leadership challenge. If he does not walk, because his health secretary, Wes Streeting, handed in his resignation today, a mere few hours after Downing Street said that he's still the health secretary and he's fully in support of the Prime Minister. And his move to resign now makes clear that there will be a leadership contest. Not quite sure what the result will be, but there will be a leadership contest. And then the developments where Angela Rayner is concerned, the former Deputy Prime Minister, settling her tax debt, which caused her to resign from the shadow cabinet. Not from shadow, from cabinet, beg your pardon. Resign. And her clearance now makes the way clear for her to challenge for the leadership if she so desires. And then there's the outside bit of the Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, former MP who left to become the Mayor of Greater Manchester and who wants to come back into the House of Commons so he can, as an MP, challenge for the leadership of the Labour Party. But he's 6 or 7 weeks away because there need to be a by-election, and they're not sure how that by-election would go if Reform, given the wave of popularity that they're riding, would win, and then of course him getting into the House, and if he would beat Starmer in an election contest. Many people feel he would, even though he has lost twice on his 2 previous bids to become Labour leader, losing to Jeremy Corbyn. But it's to say it's all happening is a hell of an understatement. Britain is in chaos this morning. Well, this afternoon their time, Tana.
And closer to us as well, George, over in Cuba.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
No fuel.
No fuel. The reports coming out of Cuba is that they've run out of diesel and fuel oil. And it's been said that there were limited amounts of gas available, but that Cuba's energy system was in a critical state as U.S.-led blockade of oil to the country squeezed supply. And I attended up on a conversation that the Cuban ambassador to Jamaica had with journalists last week, George, Tanya Lopez LaRocque. And she was indicating that the Cuban regime is adamant that there will be no regime change. And based on the reports this morning, it seems as if the United States is trying to tie the aid that they're offering to regime change. And the Cuban regime is adamant that it will not be participating or subjecting itself to any regime change. So here we are, where there is a complete blockade, U.S. blockade there in relation to energy, and that the people are also in need of really simple supplies in that country. Also pointed out by the the Cuban ambassador to Jamaica last week is that so many surgeries there have had to be postponed. She mentioned 90,000 surgeries that have had to be postponed. 11,000 of those surgeries were to be done with children. She also mentioned that there is issues in terms of their water supply because there's no electricity. You know, over the past couple of months, we've been reporting that they're rolling blackouts 22 hours a day, which is basically the entire time. There's no electricity in many sections of the Spanish-speaking country. They're also mentioning that transportation is becoming expensive. People have to be stopping themselves from going to work. Work days limited to now 3 instead of all week because transportation is just too expensive, and you just have to be finding all kind of ways to reduce the amount of energy that you're using in the workplace. So there's a lot affecting the Cuban people. And it's just very unfortunate, George. They're so close, and it seems as if so much cannot be done for them at this time. Aid, simple things as aid, food and water being tied to regime change in that country. But yeah, the news out of Cuba this morning, the Spanish-speaking country has completely run out of diesel and fuel oil. Yeah. We're hearing from the energy minister there that some of the different types of fuel, crude oil, fuel oil of which they have absolutely none, diesel of which they have absolutely none. And he says, I'm being repetitive, the only thing we have is gas from our wells where production has grown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As we wait for the minister to come, let me just read a section of the letter that Streeting sent to the Prime Minister. He says, last week's election results were unprecedented, both in terms of the scale of the defeat and the consequences of that failure. For the first time in our country's history, nationalists are in power in every corner of the United Kingdom, including a dangerous English nationalism represented by Nigel Farage and Reform UK. This represents both an existential threat to the future integrity of the United Kingdom, but Reform UK also represents a threat to the values and ideals that have made this country great. Progressives across our country understand this threat and our responsibility to confront it, but they are increasingly losing faith that the Labour Party is capable of rising to our historic responsibility of defeating racism and offering hope that Britain's best days lie ahead through social democracy. He goes on to say, there is no doubt that the unpopularity of this government was a major and common factor in our defeats across England, Scotland and Wales. Good Labour people lost through no fault of their own. There are many reasons we could point to, from individual mistakes on policy like the decision to cut the winter fuel allowance to the island of strangers speech, all of which have left the country not knowing who we are or what we really stand for. You have many great strengths that I admire. You led our party to a victory few thought possible in 2024, and I was proud to fight alongside you in the trenches of that campaign. You have shown courage and statesmanship on the world stage, not least in keeping Britain out of the war in Iran. But where we need vision, we have a vacuum. Where we need direction, we have drift. This was underscored by your speech on Monday. Leaders take responsibility, but too often that has meant other people falling on their swords. You also need to listen to your colleagues, including backbenchers, and the heavy-handed approach to dissenting voices diminishes our politics. As a member of your government, I know better than most that governing is hard. It should be because it matters. There are enormous challenges facing this country. For the first time in our history, the next generation faces a worse inheritance than the last. We have wars raging in Europe and the Middle East that are making our challenges harder, not easier. We are in the foothills of a technological industrial revolution that has huge implications for every aspect of our lives, not least the future of work. It is not clear whether democracy or tyranny will define the 21st century. After the financial crisis, austerity, the disaster of Brexit, Liz Truss, the COVID pandemic, the war in Ukraine, and now the war in Iran, the country needs to believe again that things can be better than this and that politics is part of the answer, not the source of the problem. These are big challenges that require a bold vision and bigger solutions than we are offering. It is now clear that you will not lead the Labour Party into the next general election, and that Labour MPs and Labour unions want the debate about what comes next to be a battle of ideas, not of personalities or petty factionalism. It needs to be broad, and it needs the best possible field of candidates. I support that approach, and I hope that you will facilitate this. Serving as your Secretary of State for Health and Social Care has been the greatest joy of my life, and regardless of our differences this week, I remain truly grateful to you for the opportunity to serve, and I am deeply saddened to be leaving government in this way. Yours sincerely, Wes Treaty. Man, so brother, you have to go before we get on with the business of sorting out the country. Yeah, you have to go. Let's take the break and come back.
Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life, while we feel safe at night. Jamaica live good.
Jamaica, stop the killing and give up the guns. Just live good now.
The time brought to you by the Ministry of National Security and Peace is
7:33.
Morning after morning, you've made Nationwide 90 FM part of your routine. So let's take this connection one step closer. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club and be part of it officially on Patreon.
Family, family.
For 25 years, Digicel has been keeping Jamaica better connected. From late night calls to the texts, clicks, and moments that keep us close. Celebrating 25 years. Digicel, powered by you, connected by us.
All right, 7:36. We're waiting on the Agriculture Minister to join us. A lot of people commenting about certain things that happened in the Parliament yesterday. There was an intervention by Everett Warmington at the very start, before the Deputy Speaker, Hero Clark, went through the agenda, where he said that it's been customary in Parliament that once the Speaker comes in, nobody comes until after the prayer is complete. And he says what has been happening, members just stroll in after the Speaker, even when the prayer is going on. Nobody recognizes the order anymore, or the process. It's a free-for-all. And he says we should go back to that. And, he always talks about...
He's such a stickler for the standing orders.
He says, I've been here since 1980.
So.
Since 40, how many years is that? 43 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he says that what's happening now is not in keeping with how we conduct the business of this house. and we need to get back to that. Yeah. So the Speaker allowed that intervention right at the start. And as I've said here this week, I think I said it last week, there needs to be a reset, because there are too many people who believe that anything and everything goes inside the chamber, and that where they are blocked, it means that they're getting a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And since we have George in our studios now, the leader of government business, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, but he also has that role as leader of government business. What takes place? Welcome to Nationwide this morning,
Thank
Minister
you,
Green.
Ton and George.
Since George mentioned it, talking about the standing orders, what takes place when somebody becomes a member of parliament in terms of their training? Is it that they're given the standing orders?
They're provided with the standing orders, and there's also training. And it was one of the things that we were at pains to do, and I want to commend the House and the Speaker, who had multiple trainings, orientation session with new members, training for parliamentarians in general. All parliamentarians were invited. We also had the Commonwealth Parliament Association, who came to Jamaica and did a fair bit of training also, looking at things like speeches, presentations to the House, things that you see were implemented in terms of trying to keep to the time in terms of the sectoral presentation. Yeah. When I went to the Commonwealth Parliament Association presentation, the former Speaker of the House in Trinidad was there, and one of the things she said was, if you can't say it in 40 minutes, does it deserve to be said? Right? So I made the point that there has been significant training, probably more than any other parliament that I've been a part of. So now this is my third term, and this is the most I've seen a focus on training and looking at the standing orders.
And overall, I know we've had a conversation, I believe it was last week, about the happenings in Parliament now. But just to ask you again, because there was a bit of a issue yesterday too with the use of patois in one parliamentarian's presentation. What do you make in general of the way in which parliamentarians are conducting themselves now? And it seems as if some sort of ignorance to what's in the standing orders, even though you're mentioning that training takes place.
I don't think yesterday was ignorance, actually, right? If you listen to the presentation, it was done with the expectation that they would be stopped. Because literally in the speech, it goes on to say that you can't use it in the House. In other words, it was part of the presentation, right? So the Speaker was very clear, not the Speaker of the House, the presenter, the member, was very clear that it is not permitted, and if you are to utilize it, you have to ask for permission, right? But I think in general, one of the challenges that you do find, even though the standing orders are clear, people want to have their own way. And there is no House of Parliament that can operate like that. You have to adhere to the rules. That's why the rules are put in place. Clearly, all of us are adults, but once you come into the House, then you say that you are ascribing to the rules that are set for the House. And on all of the matters that we have had challenges, the rules are extremely clear. And, people may miss yesterday that a point of order was raised. The Speaker ruled in favor of the opposition on the point of order. So the Speaker has shown she is firm, no question about that. But she's even-handed, and I think that's what you want in a Speaker.
Turning now to your portfolio, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. One of the last conversations we had with you here on Nationwide this morning, you said there was a glut. What's the update in relation to that and how farmers are faring? So,
we do go through gluts and then shortages, unfortunately. But for the most part, we are still well supplied with most things. The last item that we saw significant oversupply in was scallions, and the ministry did intervene, and I want to thank also the private sector, GK and Walkerswood, worked with us. What the ministry did was to provide transportation, to provide a connection with the farmers. So for Walkerswood, the majority of the oversupply was in the New Forest area, which would be very far from the Walkerswood factory. So we decided to intervene, provide the transportation to take away that burden from Walkerswood, and we did move I think about 600,000 pounds of scallion that would have helped the farmers. Again, as I spoke about yesterday, we have to take a more comprehensive ecosystem changing approach to these oversupplies and shortage, and it goes to a couple of things. One, treating with storage. And that is one of the things that we are focusing on as a ministry. So clearly we would have opened Essex Valley last year, and we have utilized Essex Valley to store things like Irish and to store things like potato in the oversupply. What we want to do now is to enter into a partnership with the private sector to have not just the storage area run, but the agro-processing. Right? So we're doing Essex Valley, we're doing Kirkvine. We should finish Kirkvine this month. We want to open it next month. That's about 350 square feet of storage in the Kirkvine area. Coleyville, which is 2,600 cubic feet. That's a 300 million renovation project, should be finished by next year. We're doing small containerized solutions in places like Flagaman. We're going to open that. Well, we've opened it. We're going to have it operational by the end of this month. So storage is part of the solution. The other part of the solution is agro-processing. We definitely need to see more value addition, because then that gives extensive use. And again, in my sectoral yesterday, I spoke about one, partnering with the private sector to do a couple of things. The RADA team had some incubators, but they haven't really worked. We are going to refit the incubator starting with St. James, so that if you are in your community, you have an idea, you need somewhere to go to formulate your recipe, to start your production, and then to scale up your production, we want to provide you with that space. We also have said to the RADA team, let us bring in our fast food chains. Every time you go to a expo, you see the home economics unit of RADA has all sorts of drinks and punch. Yesterday they were at Parliament with an Irish potato punch, right? Bring in our commercial entities and say to them, try these recipes. Let's see if one will work. Because if we commercialize these things, if we get one of these things on a menu, for example, with any of our fast food chains, I won't pick one, then that will lead to an increased demand. So we're going to push agro-processing. The last area is our farmers markets. They have worked tremendously in helping us clear some of the glut, and we want to really institutionalize them now. So we have one that we do every month at the ministry. We want to increase that, but we want to do Negril, we want to do Portmore, we want to do Portland, St. James. We want to have those on a monthly basis so that farmers always have an additional space to move their items.
There were a couple of items I wanted to pick up on before you made the speech, meaning that I was anticipating some update on. One, this thing of the agricultural policy, which you touched, which I wanted to speak to.
Yes.
The issue of irrigation water, because I have the fortune of knowing farmers who've struggled over the years because of a lack of irrigation water. And I also wanted to deal with the issue of, notwithstanding what you said about how agricultural production in terms of crop production has overperformed in context to the extent that it is at record levels, perhaps bested by only 1 year in our recorded history. And what happens to the three areas that you identified? Livestock farmers, who I know didn't rebound the way that the crop planters did. The yam folks and, of course, the coffee folks. You touched all of those. So let's take them in turn. The agriculture policy first, that 10-year policy.
Yeah, so it's an agricultural plan. Very,
yes.
very important. Clearly, we have our own ministry plans that we've done time and time again. But one of the things the Prime Minister said when he came to Denby last year was we need to do a multiple term agricultural plan so that our private sector, so that regardless of administration, we know the direction that we're going in relation to agriculture. We took that on board and we worked with the FAO, and we now have a draft plan, a draft 10-year development plan that we have posted to our website, moa.gov.jm. What we're doing now is to say to our stakeholders, give us some feedback. Right, it has 4 thematic areas. It has cross-cutting areas like research, technology, perennial lasting, and it does outline the steps that will be taken over the next 10 years. So we're now in the stage to say, give us some feedback, email us, tell us what you think about it, so that we can finalize the plan. We want to have this plan by the end of the second quarter that we will table, and then everybody will know what is the direction that we're going in.
When I saw the involvement of the Food and Agriculture Organization, the FAO, I thought to myself, well, you know, when people ask these questions, I normally frown, but I think it's a necessary question to ask. Whose plan is it, given the input of the FAO? Because is it that the FAO has said, Jamaica, this is the 10-year plan you should pursue? Or we have said, this is the plan we're pursuing, and they've given us structural help?
We have said. So first of all, what the FAO did was to bring in a consultant to work with us, to take our thoughts and ideas and to formulate them into our plan. So it's not that the FAO had a plan from somewhere and said, you know, you can use this plan, Jamaica. No, none at all, right? And in fact, the consultant with the FAO was able to bring in, which is a change that the FAO has made, which we've been lobbying for, is to use more local-based consultants. So we don't need to bring somebody from Europe to come tell us. We have the technical expertise here, but you do need somebody to pull together all the ministry teams, to pull together all the stakeholders, to get that information and then to formulate it. So they have had consultations with me as minister, they've had consultations, they've had workshop with stakeholders, they've had consultation with the technical team, they've looked at the strategic plans that we have had, which were normally like 3-year plans, right? And they've now collated all of that into this 10-year development
The
plan.
lifeblood of this plan will be funded by what? Public funds, or it is designed to attract funding from the various portals that exist across the world?
So, the government has to see itself more and more in agriculture as a facilitator. All strong agricultural systems are driven by the private sector, are driven by entrepreneurs. Sometimes we don't speak about our small farmers as entrepreneurs. That's what they are.
Yes.
They are business people.
Yeah.
So what we have to do is provide the framework like irrigation to ensure that they can do what they love and they can invest and they can make profit. So what you will see from the plan is government facilitation to lead to private sector income generation.
There must be a reason, though, Minister, switching from that now, that those who plant crops have been able to rebound tremendously well, but those who raise chickens or raise fish or rabbits or whatever it is, the livestock falls under the livestock banner, haven't had anywhere near the kind of rebound. And those who plant yam and coffee still struggle, still call the programs and complain that they've not been able to get lift off post Melissa.
Yeah, so it as I said yesterday, recovery will happen in phases. It is a journey, and you will have to look at the extent of the damage to the sector, right? So a number of our vegetable areas were damaged, but a number of them were not, right? And where they were not, especially when you do short-term crops, clearly it's much easier to bounce back than longer-term crops, which oftentimes take more investment. So our yam farmers, we have already done about 100 million in support to our yam farmers, providing things like yam head, stakes, fertilizer, doing some soil testing. That has reached about 2,000 farmers so far. We have at least 6,000 yam farmers that were significantly damaged. And when you look at the duration, yam did well right after Hurricane Melissa, but now we're into the phase where you're replanting, and it's going to take some time. So I have said in my sectorial that we are going to go into phase 2 now to provide additional support to our yam farmers. Our coffee farmers have suffered blow on top of blow.
But stick up in before you go to coffee, because you said...
And you stick up in while we take a break.
Oh.
We take a break and then we come back.
Right.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
7:50.
Hawkeye is protecting homes, businesses, and communities with trusted security solutions. The temperature by Hawkeye, securing what matters most, is
27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Digicel Postpaid keeps you better connected. Get the Samsung Galaxy A26 for only $25,000 when you sign up for Postpaid. Plans start as low as $4,000 plus GCT. Visit digiceljamaica.com for participating locations. Conditions apply. Digicel, powered by you, connected by us.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. It's the front page. The Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining made his contribution to the sectoral debate in the House of Representatives on Wednesday. Comprehensive presentation looking at several things, the highlight of which, at least for me, was the announcement of a 10-year agriculture development plan. Instructions given not so long ago. The plan is ready, he says, and he's inviting comments from the public along with the stakeholders, the opposition, anybody. He's inviting the comments before this thing is concretized and the nation pursues it. Minister, you said that 6,000 yam farmers, you've reached 2,000. You've spent 100 million doing various things to support those 2,000 to get back on their feet. But there are 4,000 still at the back of the line. You say phase 2. From what I read yesterday, you can correct me if the number is wrong. under phase 2 of the recovery effort, you're earmarking to spend about 250 million.
About 250.
So hold on, because I questioned that yesterday, because I'm saying, if you spend 100 million to help 2,000 in phase 1, and you're going to phase 2 and there are 4,000 more, and it's not just yam you're spending on, then the 250 is light.
I wouldn't say light. I think, one, we have to appreciate that you may not be able to help every single person that has been impacted, but you're trying to get to a critical mass, right? Let us say we spend another 100 million on yam farmers and we do the same numbers. We reach 2,600, and now 2,600 would take us to 5,200, which would be the vast majority of the farmers that would have been impacted. Clearly, you have different categories of farmers. Some farmers have already been able to help themselves and to get back out there. So I think that would carry us definitely to the critical mass. We still have 150 million left. We've spent 100 million, 120 million on coffee, right? We're going to spend another, probably almost close to that, maybe not as much, on the coffee farmers. And I was saying, the reality is that our coffee farmers have gone through drought, they've gone through multiple rain events. So what they need, and some of it will not be put in that monetary bundle, because a lot of the coffee farmers need one replanted, right? So we have to continue on our drive to give them planted material to plant new coffee trees. Some of the coffee trees are older than all of us, so they're not getting the productivity that they need. So we will deal with that. The other thing that we're going to deal with is our livestock farmers, right? So we would have, for example, already done 100,000 broiler chicks, right? But again, we know we need another round of that, and we have to stagger it, because again, you want to reach as much different types of farmers as possible, but also you don't want to also drive your own gluts, right? So now we're going to go back out. Probably we will do about the same, looking at the areas that we have not done. We want to do some direct support to farmers who have not yet received support, and then our goat farmers, our cattle farmers. Well, we are doing a program now around dairy. So we would have purchased about 400 heifers, and we're distributing it now to our small dairy farmers so that they can ramp up their herds and increase their production. So we are taking a multidimensional approach.
Under a sell and pay later scheme, or you're giving it to them?
We're giving it to them.
You're giving them you're giving 400 cows to farmers.
We're giving 400 cows to farmers, right? And at various sizes, right? And that's important. We do believe that dairy is one of the areas that we can drive production again. If you know, our dairy industry was very robust in the 80s into the early 90s. Then poor policy kind of drove a lot of farmers out of dairy. Now everybody's going back to fresh. Nobody wants, processed, right? So fresh milk is on the rise, and you can see that with the investment of a company like True Juice, who are now doing True Milk, which is, they're really pushing because it is profitable. It can be profitable. We want to ramp up our small dairy farmers to drive back our production numbers to get to even half of what we used to do. It would be a big push.
And sticking on the conversation about drought, Minister, because you did address that yesterday, how many catchment facilities are we talking about, and where exactly are they? Will they be? And
it's hard to give the number because it's going to depend on the size of the catchment facilities. What we are doing is targeting our high production zones, and we have two methodologies, right? We have one where if you are an individual farmer and you are in an area that has water challenges, and you have identified a space on your land that you can do a catchment, if you do the excavation, then the ministry will provide you with the pond liner. Because oftentimes the pond liner is the critical cost to get that done. If you are a group, or if you are in a production zone, we're going in and identifying areas, as we have done in New Pen, as we have done in St. Anne, as we have done in parts of St. Elizabeth, where we go in, we identify an area, we do the full excavation. In some places we have done drainage work to lead water into the catchment. So it depends on the areas, but we've earmarked 145 million for that project, and that's not the full gamut of our drought mitigation strategy. We are also going to incorporate our members of parliament, where they're going to have the ability to select some beneficiaries who can get storage tanks, who can get drip irrigation systems. We do believe that that works in terms of reaching to the farmers and ensuring that they're utilizing the water that they have better, and that they're storing the water. Outside of that, we're also going to be purchasing 2 new water trucks for the NIC. We're going to be distributing some plastic mulch, some grass mulch. That's important. In the St. Elizabeth, what they have used for years in drought is these grass mulch systems that keep the moisture in the soil and then also builds nutrients in the soil when that deteriorates. So it's a multi-pronged strategy, but we start now because, again, you know, we were just talking last month about every evening we're having rain.
Mm-hmm.
The heat now.
Yeah, heat is on.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the irrigation water system issue. And I get the impression that a significant portion of the population don't understand the importance of irrigation water. Let me tell you, if you're from rural Jamaica, if you're both you say canal, if you're regular you say canal. These arteries with water that run through communities, and it's not just farming that they're useful for. People wash their clothes with irrigation water. People cook with irrigation. They boil it and then they put it on and they're cooking. I know that for a fact. Yeah, it's very important. So where there isn't irrigation water, communities suffer, and there's not adequate supply. Farmers struggle because you can't water the fields. So you've heard me speak about irrigation water from time to time, and I return to it to ask the minister the plan to increase access of farmers who have arable land but don't have enough water to give them the confidence to put crops in the field because they can't water them.
It is the most critical investment in agriculture, no question about it. And it's the thing that is making the biggest difference. You know, when you ask us how we've been able to bounce back so quickly on our vegetable lines, it's because of what we've done in expanding irrigation. And there was a story, people talk about it. I told the story of Mr. Reed in Parnassus. He lost millions, right? But he was back out. And they asked him, why are you back out? He said he has access to water. Once he has access to water, he said he used to lose 50% of his profit. You listen. He now is sure he will retain 100% of his profit, right? Just because water is now on his farm. And that is Parnassus, where last year we would have completed that project to bring irrigation and water to 700 acres. We have to continue that. And one of the things that this government has done is the largest investment in irrigation, full stop, in our history. So now, Essex Valley, you know, when I finished my speech yesterday, what I got was a video with the well testing at SS Valley, showing that water is now running. We are planning to, we've done all the pipelines. What was left now is the pumps to be put in. Those pumps are now installed and are being tested, and we expect that before the end of this year, hopefully by September, we will turn on. That will bring 1,200 hectares, right, on the irrigation supply. Amity Hall, when you're driving on the highway and you look and you see a big pond, because we're using different methodologies. So you spoke about the canal. So with Amity Hall, the canal brings it now to a huge, our biggest ever catchment pond, which will now have a pressurized system leading to the farms. We expect to be finished that in 2027, by the second quarter of 2027. The big thing also, all of these irrigation systems now, George, are renewable energy operated, right? So we have the biggest solar farm in the Caribbean for agriculture that is going to drive Essex Valley. We have one that we're doing now in Amity Hall. Again, when you drive, you look, you will see that. Pedro Plains will completely change the game, because Pedro Plains will bring us almost to 50% of our arable land under irrigated water. Pedro Plains about 3,000 hectares, some of our most productive lands already, but people are doing less than they could because of the access to water. So that project will take the water from the Black River, we'll do a pressurized system to the entire plains, and we are in final advanced design phase. We're building the project office now, retrofitting the project office, and we want to get into the ground hopefully by early next year in terms of laying the pipes, right? That's a massive project. It will be at least a 5-year project, but we will do it in phases, so the water will start before the end of the entire project. And then we're doing some smaller things. We're doing New Pen in St. Mary, again, Great Irish area, used to do well with rain. We've seen the difference now. So one of the things that we have to recognize is that even in areas where rain-fed used to work, it's not working anymore. So we've already dug the well in New Pen. So we have 4 small projects that will bring about 2,000 hectares on the irrigation cover. All of these projects will be done over the next 5 years. We're planning to spend about $29 billion over the next 5 years on irrigation. And for me, that's the biggest difference we can make in our agriculture system, because once you give the farmers the water, they will do the rest.
There was a problem, I remember, well, he won't be upset if I say old man, because that's how I call him. An old farmer out in Hearty, St. Thomas, was saying to me that, Mr. George, the agro parks that the government have, you have some man who have land who now put nothing in the land, and we who want the land can't get the land. Have you addressed that?
Yeah, we're fixing that. I wouldn't say we've addressed it, but we are fixing it. So last year we would have taken back 120 acres from people and would have repurposed it to people who want it. We have identified another 280 acres that we're going to move on this year if there's no action on it. Doesn't make sense you have the land and you're not utilizing it. And we are going to push to do more agri-parks, because what we want, and the government did commit in our manifesto to say that we're going to establish at least one agri-park in every parish. And yesterday I would have outlined to the House that we have identified all the lands. Some of them were doing feasibility studies, some of them were far down the wicket. So in St. Mary, we're going to do New Pen. So we've already dug the well. We're going to design a pressurized system in Portland, Lower Layton. We already have a production zone that focuses on banana. Now we're going to put in the infrastructure to make it into an agri-park. We've identified some places for feasibility studies, like in St. James, the Mount Pelier lands. Clearly we're looking for water, we're looking for good soil. In Westmoreland, Frome, everybody's familiar with Frome, but the agri-parks that we're building out, George, no, can't be what we used to do. Because we used to identify areas and call them agri-parks. But the infrastructure that you need wasn't there. So one of the things that we are doing that I never got a chance to mention yesterday is that we have a project that we've sent to finance that we're asking for funding to bring up the old agri-parks to speed. Give them the road infrastructure, give them the storage infrastructure so that the farmers can really be comfortable in doing what they're doing. Our new agri-parks like Essex Valley, Amity Hall, they come with those things. So, Essex Valley has the storage, it has packing facilities, it has a road network. One of the things we don't talk about in Essex Valley, we have done 37 kilometers of road. Brand new. Some places that used to have track and turn, we don't understand. Dirt road.
We don't understand.
Right? They know how full Barber Green running through, right? So that is the sort of development that we're focused on. So yes, we're going to be repurposing the lands. I have been very strong on the Agri-Invest team. If you have it, and I'm saying to people who occupy the agri-parks, if you have the land and you're not using it, we're going to take it back.
What would you say, Minister, to folks out there who are wondering this morning, bread gone up, flour gone up, sugar drinks gone up, everything going up in the supermarkets. What about produce?
Well, thankfully, not much people are complaining about the price of produce now. In fact, the only people who are complaining are my farmers. Because
they not catch the price.
There has to be a balance. There has to be a balance. You have to ensure that farmers get a return on their investment, but you also want the food to be accessible to the consumers. And that's why things like storage and ensuring that we have a consistent supply is so important. I am saying to people that we will have to look at our dietary patterns, because a lot of what we consume as the base of our diet depends on imports, right? So we do import a lot of wheat that goes into our bread, and those things are susceptible to these realities, these shocks. I mean, local production is as well in terms of fertilizer, in terms of agrochemicals, but we are better able to manage. And some of the things that I have said is that we will have to do more in terms of even our fertilizer. We have to look at how do we develop local organic-based fertilizer that works, that can help our farmers so that we bring down the cost of imported fertilizer, the utilization of imported fertilizer. How can we do more precision-based agriculture so that you're not just using the old blends, that you're sometimes wasting the nutrients, but you're doing the soil test and looking exactly what does this plant crop need and utilizing only that amount. But what you will see is that we are susceptible. We do import a lot of grain, we do import a lot of animal feed, which I spoke about yesterday, that we have to find local things to substitute in our feeding regimes, because what you're seeing, oftentimes when people complain about the food import bill, they haven't stopped to look what is it that we're importing, that we're complaining about. So every time we drive poultry, we are going to see the food import bill increase, because animal feed is counted under the food import bill, and that goes up. So again, we will have to look, especially now, on how can you do more, how can you grow more, right? So that you reduce the cost of having to purchase and the imported inflation that comes with that.
A quick one before we let you go. It's a small question. What has been the reaction from people to the announcement about avocados? Because you've announced that now we'll be able to have avocado trees that can grow all year long. And you know how Jamaicans are. Some will be skeptical to say, listen, I'm used to that.
One person said to me, boy, we don't mind food season, but no, listen, the reality is that there have always been various varieties, and these are not science lab made up varieties, the naturally occurring varieties, that one, just in any plant, you have varieties that are better with heat. And just the same thing with livestock. You have livestock that are better with a certain climate, that are not better with a certain climate. What we have to consistently do is look at what is best for our climate and what can give us commercial scale production. And that's very, very important, because we can't keep being seasonal producers, because especially if you're tapping into import markets, especially if you're tapping into export markets and agro-processing, you have to have consistency of supply. So we've brought in 3 varieties through Trees That Feed. These varieties came from the Dominican Republic. We haven't gone anywhere far. And again, the Hass variety now is the most exported variety. It's the avocado that is being used all over the world, especially in things like guacamole, right? And it will do well. But what you will see is that we are consistently looking at what is good for our local market. So you would have heard me speak about the Wambuga apple, something out of Kenya, where they have a tropical apple that has the look, shape, consistency of the American apple, right? We know how popular the American apple is here. So we have to take practical steps to bring in varieties that can work here. And again, as the climate changes, our research teams at Bodles has to develop things that are ideal for this new climate. So there's nothing to be afraid of. And what you will see, I can tell you one thing, and I see everybody laughing, I can tell you one thing. There was a time that the banana that is now the most popular banana was not.
That's right.
Was not available on the
That's
market.
right.
People used to have the bumpy, the little small banana. That's what you used to get. Try and sell people bumpy now.
You know, I must tell you, Toy, that when I hear avocado, I cringe. When I eat avocado, avocado. Anyway, you can't leave without talking about fisheries.
No,
because
absolutely.
For many reasons. But so what is in the works for fisheries and the investment?
There's so much. We've been doing a lot of training to get our fishers to do pelagic fishing, to move from the near shore and to go further afield to catch our marlin, to catch our tuna, to catch our mahi-mahi. It's working. What we have to help them with now is that value chain, in terms of the cold chain after you catch, to transport, to ensure that it's still fresh when you get it into the various spaces that need it. So we're going to be doing some development around that to help them, providing them with some ice boxes on their various fishing beaches, so they always have that sort of cold chain consistently. But the big thing that we're focusing on is aquaculture, right? We all know our tilapia market. We're going to finish our hatchery, which will move us from 1 million fry to 5 million fry, so that we can significantly drive tilapia production in this country. But last year we were able to commercially establish a prawn hatchery. So a lot of people call it shrimp. When you know, the
no, Minister, swims. Swims.
But, you know, we consume a lot of it. So we were able to develop 386,000 post-larvae freshwater prawns last year. We have put that into the market now. 147,000 have gone to 12 commercial farmers, and that is turning over. So we want to do more of that. But the biggest one will probably be our cage culture. We are growing out snapper in the sea, in cages. Right? Very, very important. Actively right now, Bowden, we have 2 cages that were established. We have our first pilot.
Bowden out St. Thomas?
In St. Thomas of snapper, and it's working. So now we're going to look to expand it and commercialize it. We are doing the pilot so that we can come to a man like you, George, and say, you're looking somewhere to invest? These are the parts of the country that this is ideal for. This is the brood stock. Start it, because we do import a lot of seafood, and for Ireland, you know, it's something that we have to fix. So those are some of the things I could tell you about CMOS, because we're now working with the guys to really commercially harvest and also plant. I don't know if you know that, but we're planting CMOS just like how you would plant cabbage, right? We're planting CMOS on racks in the sea. We're doing oyster production in Westmoreland and Hanover. So we're doing a lot, and I couldn't leave without one, saying a little bit about mining. On 2 fronts. You know, I know there's been a lot of discussion about Alpat, right? We are adamant that this year has to be the year of decision for Alpat and for the GISCO team. We would have met with them last year. They would have given us 4 deliverables. They delivered 3. But the most important one was to start the phase reopening. They have said that Hurricane Melissa would have caused some delay, but we have decided that it's been a long time. And Alpat still has or largest amount of reserves attached to that company. So the government will have to make a definitive decision. So we're going to go to China and sit and meet with the GISCO team to establish some clear timelines to ensure that we are on the same page, and to really let them know that if they don't move by X time, then the government will have to act. So that is one. The other thing that we're working on is our rare earth elements. It has become a very big talking point. You know, for your listeners, these elements, about 17 of them, are very critical for electric vehicles and for almost everything electric based. And the US administration has really raised the profile of trying to secure sources of rare earth elements, and it's actually doing a project now to establish a plant in Louisiana, in Gramercy, to extract critical elements from red mud. We, about over a decade ago, did a pilot plant with Nippon out of Japan with the Jamaica Bauxite Institute to do that sort of work. It was done. We realized that we have about 25 times the amount of rare earths in our red mud, but it was a pilot plant and the cost never worked out. So one, we're going to move that pilot plant to a commercial plant. But one of the things that I said yesterday in the House, and we're moving to treat with, our view of the law is that the Mining Act says that if you are looking for if you've gotten a license for one element or for one mineral and you find something else, then it is still the property of Jamaica. And you should still pay royalties and the various taxes. My position on it is that that is the case whether that is found here in Jamaica, in our red mud, or in Louisiana, where we have a significant amount of red mud from Jamaican bauxite. Yes. So I've said to the legal team to give me an opinion on it, but I've also said to them, let's take some steps to make it absolutely clear in law that wherever our red mud is,
ends up, yes,
the rare earth elements
in it, afiwi.
Very important.
There we go.
So we are moving on that. So exciting times for agriculture, fisheries and mining. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done. We're not over the hurdles as yet. We have done well in this first phase of the recovery, but there is more to do.
Hear you on that. All right, at 8:14, an extended front page. We appreciate your time, Minister. All the best.
Anytime. Thank you.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
The time by Grace Good Move is...
All right, later.
It's 8:14.
Interex Distributors presents the ultimate tile clearance sale. Transform your space for less. Dunrobin Plaza, 30 Dunrobin Avenue. The temperature by Interex Distributors is
29 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay. In Mandeville, it is 24 degrees Celsius. Is that what you said?
This station raised me. It gave me a voice. And if Nationwide has ever meant something to you, come on in. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club today on Patreon.
Drought, you know here, we totally turn up down at Total Tools. Big things are going. Yes, my love. 10 a.m., May 15 at Total Tools, Lot C6 Drax Hall. Whole heap of new things, whole heap of excitement. And guess what? Cliffviews Online are going to be live on location from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Among prizes, surprises, and giveaways. I got today. But I'm not alone, you know. Them are going to have up to 25% off at all 3 locations. Can't miss this. Remember, 10 a.m., May 15, Total Tools, Lot C6, Drax Hall. Catch it live on YouTube during Cliffviews Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's a go massive.
Building Blocks is brought to you by the Contractor Center, providing solutions to everyday challenges.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. Turning now to building blocks, brought to you by the Contractor Center, providing solutions for everyday challenges. Now, when we talk about property maintenance and home improvement, we often focus on the walls and the roof, but the ground beneath our feet takes the most consistent beating. So today, we're looking at a heavy-duty solution for tired, cracked, or slippery concrete called the Rust-Oleum Floortex. And joining us, our resident flooring expert, the CEO of the Contractor Center, Andre Hutchinson. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Tana. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Alive and well, highly favored and very blessed.
Wonderful. So, Andre, you're going to break down this game changer for us, both for residential and commercial consumers out there. But first, talk to us about the product. What is Floortex?
All right. So, think of Floortex as a high-performance water-based textured coating. Unlike most thin sealers, it just sits on the surface. The Floortex actually penetrates the concrete and goes down directly into the concrete, and then it also has that textured finish. So it has large aggregates built into it, and it's specifically engineered to feel like, you have those minor cracks in your floor. So sometimes you have to fill the cracks before. Not with the Floortex. It's thick enough, it's big enough where you can just roll on, even when you have minor cracks in the floor.
Okay, so just break it out for us again, what the product looks like and the application of it.
Okay, good. So it comes in a 5-gallon bucket with only 4 gallons of product. The extra gallon is to be able to color it. What we use is like a water-based paint to match any color you want. So whether you want to have a white, a red, a green, a blue, you can just go to any of your paint stores. You get that 1 gallon of water-based paint. You add it in, you mix it in, and you start rolling. What a lot of people do, though, is they try to make patterns out of it. So whether you want to do a brick pattern or you want to put your name in your floor or something like that, you can do a base color in white or any color you want, and then do it in a different color on top. Tape out the area that you want. So whether it be the brick or your name or whatever, tape it out, and then once you finish, you pull the tape and you have this beautiful pattern.
Talk to us about the home use versus a commercial space use of a product like this.
All right. So it comes down to really 3 pillars of the product, right? It's safety, its strength, and its simplicity. Safety, meaning if it's textured, you can't really fall on it. It's very grippy, right? When you walk on it. So it's good for outdoor areas and stuff. Because it has this extra grit in it, it builds up the strength of the floor or the product itself. So, and it's also breathable. So, sometimes there's moisture in the concrete, but with this one, the moisture can flow straight through. So it adheres well to the concrete, and you don't have to worry about it bubbling or coming off. It's also easy to use. You're rolling it on, so it's good for professional grade because you have that strength. But in terms of the application of it, it's really good for the regular DIYer. Again, we always recommend for small projects, a DIYer can definitely tackle it.
Yeah.
For larger products, get a professional.
Okay. And talk to us about the lasting nature of the product. How?
Yeah,
I applied today. When again?
So I when we first introduced this product, I would say about 9 to 10 years ago, I did my mother's driveway. We used a brick pattern. We primed with primed with white, and then we came back with a top coat, second coat of red, and pulled the tape. And 9-10 years later, it's still there. You wash it off. Of course, it gets dirty. You wash it off, you clean it off. It's still good. I mean, it hugs the concrete. It doesn't lift up.
Wow. So
that's because, but most important thing in all of these things, right? Let me not understate the importance of preparation. you have to prep the concrete. You have to make sure you etch it or you grind it or some sort of way in order to open the pores of the concrete so the product can flow into it.
So 9 to 10 years before I perhaps need to do a reapplication of the...
Well, not yet. We don't reach there yet. We're still working with it.
Right. You still haven't reached reapplication. It's still going good.
Still going good.
Oh, that's maximum durability right there.
Mm-hmm,
so how much does it come in? Only one size, and how much does it cost?
Yeah. It comes in one size, which is a 5-gallon bucket, which has a 4-gallon product. The cost of the product is $49,000 for the 5-gallon bucket. It also covers 300 square feet. So 300 square feet for 2 coats.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you're just rolling it out straight, you get 600 square feet out of the bucket. But of course, this application, this product, we recommend always doing 2 coats.
Okay.
And depending on where you're using it, if it's really just traditionally outside, you don't necessarily need a top coat. But if it's somewhere where you need to be cleaning it on a regular basis, I would recommend maybe one of our Aquatech top coats to complement it.
Okay. Just to go to seeking clarification on one thing, Andre, is it that I'm mixing the paint with the Floor-Tex, or is it that I apply the Floor-Tex and then I apply my whatever paint color I want over it?
No, so you're actually pouring the paint into the 5-gallon bucket. So you can mix it right there. So that's why the 1-gallon space is in the bucket for you to add your paint and get the color you want.
Okay. And Ernetta Reed in the chat, Andre, is asking if it can be used on the walkway outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the real areas are, pool decks are really good application use for it. Patios, porches, steps, walkways, anywhere where you're having access to, like when there's the elements, the sun, the rain, any of those sort of things, this is where this product really shines.
Mm-hmm. So just before we let you go, and we're going to ask for your contact information, as usual, Andre, for persons like Ernetta who are interested in Floor-Tex, for those who are just joining us and they're not understanding what is this product really about, what is Floor-Tex?
Yes.
If you could just tell them about the product again.
All right, no problem. Thank you so much, Tana. So Floor-Tex basically is a high-performance water-based textured coating. Right? It comes in a 5-gallon bucket with 4 gallons of product. In order to color it, and what is in the product, what is in the bucket is like a white milky type product with textured additives. The 1-gallon space is for you to add your color. So you'll go to any of your favorite paint store. Everybody knows what that is.
Mm-hmm.
You get a one gallon of your water-based color that you want it to be. You add it to the product. You mix it right there, and then you roll it out. Now you can't roll it with a regular thin nap roller. All right.
Yeah.
You have to get a much bigger one, like a half-inch nap. The reason for that, you want the textured nature of the aggregates to stay in the application, so it stays there nice and firm and it's spread out evenly. So you have this beautiful texture to walk on, and it looks amazing on the floor.
How quickly does it dry?
Actually, it cures in like an hour,
Mm.
It really, so you can do quite a bit in a day, all right? The longest part of this application process is going to be the preparation. The power wash, to etch, to grind, however you choose to prep it. That's going to be the longest part of the process. But once you start applying, like for instance, when we did the driveway, we applied the top part. By the time we reached the end, which was maybe about 300 square feet, we could go and start at the top again and go.
Wow.
Right? So you can get a lot done in a day. And it's really, you'll get 2, 3, 4 friends together and you just have some fun, just have some drinks and just beautify your home or workplace or whatever.
Yeah. So for Ernetta, Andre, as well as I'm seeing here, Everbless Otis is saying, I need a bucket. So for those folks and everybody else listening and they're interested in the Floor-Tex, where can they find you guys?
All right. We're located 26 Shortwood Road, Kingston 8. You can call us at 876-925-5700. You can WhatsApp us to organize delivery via either Zipmail or Knutsford Express at 876-213-3982. And of course, you can talk to us on social media using YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, all under the handle, the Contractor Center.
Yeah. And for folks who are watching via YouTube, there was an application video that we had on screen. So the Contractor Center also does that on their YouTube channel, where you can go on and see the application of all the products that they have there at the store. Everbless Otis again jumping in the chat to say, I really want a bucket, please. So give Everbless Otis the address again.
26 Shorted Road, Kingston 8. It's near the intersection of Grant Spread and Shorted Road. We're on the I guess you'd call it on the Lock Safe and Vault side. Where you can call us at 876-925-5700. And of course, you can WhatsApp us, 876-213-3982.
There you go. So the focus was on the Rust-Oleum Floor-Tex, the professional choice for concrete transformation. Our guide was, of course, CEO of the Contractor Center, Andre Hutchinson. Thank you so much for your time, Andre.
All right. Thank you, Tana. Take care. Have a great day.
You too. That's been it for Building Blocks, brought to you by the Contractor Center, providing solutions for everyday challenges.
Building Blocks was brought to you by the Contractor Center, providing solutions to everyday challenges.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:28.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The Temperature by Fontana Pharmacy. It's all good inside is
30 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 29 out west in Montego Bay. In Mandeville, it is 26 degrees Celsius.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Data Protection Matters is brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust.
A plan you have never tested is just a theory, and a theory won't save you when the breach hits. Tuesday's episode was about building something real. This is Data Protection Matters, powered by Design Privacy, and I'm your host, Chukwu Emeka Cameron. On Tuesday, we moved from the problem to the solution. Week 1 was the alarm, the 72-hour clock. Week 2 is the preparation. How do you build your incident response machine before you ever need it? Let me give you the essentials. First, your people. You need an incident response team, not a committee that meets quarterly. A team that knows exactly what they do when the call comes. Your DPO, or the person responsible for data protection, anchors the legal and regulatory response. Your IT lead handles the technical assessment and containment. A senior manager authorizes resources and decisions. Your communications person controls the message, and legal counsel advises on liability, contracts, and cross-border implications. Now, if you're a smaller organization, some of those roles will overlap. That's fine. What matters is not the number of people. It is that every function is assigned. Everybody knows their job before the breach, not during. Second, your plan. Written, documented, accessible, and covering 6 stages. Stage 1, detection. How does a breach report enter your organization? Who receives it? Stage 2, containment. What immediate actions does IT take? These should be pre-authorized. No waiting for approvals while data is still leaking. Stage 3, assessment. what was affected, how many people, what categories of data. This feeds directly into your notification. Stage 4, notification. Who drafts the OIC report? Who reviews it? Who sends it? Where's the template? Stage 5, communication. When and how do you tell the board, clients, staff, and the public if needed? Stage 6, documentation. Everything recorded, from the first alert to the final action. This is your evidence trail for any investigation. Detection, containment, assessment, notification, communication, documentation. Write it down. Make sure your team can find it at 2 in the morning. Third, on Tuesday, we talked about the 2 things that separate organizations who are truly ready from those who just think they are: technology and testing. On the technology side, the best organizations now use guided reporting tools when an employee discovers something suspicious. They don't need to be a privacy expert. They follow prompts. They answer structured questions. The system captures the information and automatically notifies the DPO and the response team. No email chains, no guessing, structured intake, automated routing, and real-time dashboards that show where every breach report stands. And on testing, this is where preparation becomes real. Your plan is only as good as the last time you exercised it. Run a tabletop exercise, gather your team, walk through a simulated breach, find the gaps, the missing templates, the outdated phone numbers, the unclear handoffs, the moments where people assume someone else is handling it. Find those gaps in a simulation, not at 2 in the morning during a live incident. Test annually at minimum. Run smaller drills quarterly, because readiness is not a one-time build. It is ongoing maintenance. So here's your action list from this week. Do you have an incident response team with clear roles? If not, assign them. Do you have a written incident response plan covering all 6 stages? If not, draft it. Are you using any technology to streamline breach reporting and tracking? If not, explore it. Have you ever tested your plan through a tabletop exercise? If not, schedule one. And if you need help with any of that, building the plan, assembling the team, running the exercise, that's exactly what Design Privacy does. Go to designprivacy.io. That's designprivacy.io. Next Tuesday, we go live. From detection to notification, the step-by-step playbook for what happens inside the 72-hour window. The most high-pressure 72 hours you'll face as a DPO. This has been Data Protection Matters. I'm Chukwuemeka Cameron. Build the machine, then trust it to run when you need it the most.
Data Protection Matters was brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust.
Rebuild with standards. Rebuild with confidence. Test your blocks, concrete, cement, aggregates, and other building materials at the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. The BSJ, building a nation, test by test. The time by the BSJ is
8:35.
Already have a T-tag for your vehicle? Just top it up and go through. Here's a pro tip. If you keep forgetting to add funds to your T-tag, you can use the auto top-up feature in the My T-tag app. You can set it to automatically top up your T-tag at a specific time each day, week, or month. Or you can set it to automatically top up your T-tag when your account balance goes below any value you choose. Top up your T-tag and continue to go through quicker and cheaper on Transjam highways.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jack on my figure, dig the wall.
Up a Total Tools.
Weed whacker figure, trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand.
Total Tools.
We rent them, sell them, and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option. Total Tools, located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston. And lot C6 Draxall, St. Anne's Bay. Call us today.
Imagine designing something unique
something personal, something bigger than just a dream. A reality designed by you, just for you. With Sagicor Lifestyle Approved Retirement Scheme, you can design the life you want to live. With tax-deferred savings of up to 20% of your income, you'll have the opportunity to do what you've always wanted to do. A reality designed by you. Call 888-SAGICOR today. Conditions apply.
Drought, you know here, we totally turn up down at Total Tools. Big things are going. Yes, my love. 10 a.m., May 15 at Total Tools, Lot C6 Drax Hall. Whole heap of new things, whole heap of excitement. And guess what? Cliffviews Online, I got it there live on location from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Among prizes, surprises, and giveaways. I got it there. But I'm not alone, you know. Them are going to have up to 25% off at all 3 locations. Can't miss this. Remember, 10 a.m., May 15, Total Tools, Lot C6, Drax Hall. Catch it live on YouTube during Cliffviews Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's a massive.
All right, let me tell you, the fourth annual Custos Rotalorum Manchester City Road Race, Miles for Smiles, Race with Hearts for the Cause. There it is on your screen. That 5K road race, run, walk, cycle, wheelchair, anything you can do, you're welcome to come. Proceeds are going towards the Beliefs, Values and Attitudes Initiative and the Renal and Oncology Units at Mandeville Regional Hospital. It's happening on Sunday coming May 17, 2026. You warm up at 7 a.m. No, warm up at 6 and you start racing at 7 a.m. Brooks Park, which is on Wind Road in Mandeville. Registration costs only $2,500 per participant. Only $2,500 per participant. And if you want more information, you can go to https://manchesterja.com, manchesterja.com, or just go in Google and type in manchesterja.com and it will lead you to the website, right? So warm up at 6 a.m., start running at 7 a.m. The registration cost only $2,500 per head. Sunday, May 17, 5K road race, run, walk, cycle, wheelchair, the Custos Rotalorum of Manchester, the City Road Race, the 4th annual one. Miles for Smiles, Race with Hearts in the Cause. Yeah, go out and support it. It's for people who, need help, and whatever we can do, whatever little we can do, we should assist our brothers and sisters. All right, to support that event.
Oh, towards the renal and oncology units at the Mandeville Regional Hospital.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So support. All right. I see somebody asking about, well, you know what? Tomorrow when tomorrow comes, tomorrow will resolve itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah,
right.
You did see that. Mm-hmm. Right. So here we go now. So we are, the numbers over there, Tana? I don't have the numbers over here again.
630.
Oh, we're fine. Oh, King. So King, here's what you can do for we don't know. I want you to, all right. If you could play one song that's not a Sade, okay?
Okay, George.
If you could play one more song that's not a Sade.
Taboo.
See this taboo. All right, you know what? We're always talking about
But that would be the song, but you said no Sade.
No. But then I'm changing the mood totally to eliminate Sade out of it.
Okay.
I want you to play a song for your father this morning.
For my father.
To say thanks to Daddy for what he has done for you in life.
My dad.
Yes, because mommy get all of the glory all year round. Good morning, Mrs. Thomas. But today, Father Thomas.
For my dad.
Play a tune for Father Thomas. What you recommend?
What does my dad like?
You not going to ride, though. You not going to.
You know, George, you're right.
Yeah.
You can't listen to song.
Hold on, King. Hold on. Play the original Ilangoli for me. Here long. No man, there's no several. There's one Ilangoli. King, come on. We're still gonna watch JBC with a plate of food there and play the original Ilangoli. What you father like? I can't believe that. Come on.
I don't know. We've never really.
Will you hear your father? Your father listen song?
He's a BBC man, like BBC World Service kind of man. Yeah, he listens to music, but what you'd normally hear throughout the house is BBC World Service.
Yeah.
And reading the paper and those kind of things, or a plant encyclopedia or whatever.
Lord. All right, Father Thomas. She said he don't listen to music.
He does, but
try.
it's not a regular, typical day kind of vibe. Did you participate in JCDC?
Yeah, man, speech
performances? Because this would be used a lot in the Maypole performances.
Listen, all of us heard Louise Bennett poems till we're tired.
Oh yeah.
Every competition.
Oh yeah.
By Louise Bennett. I got into it. Yeah. Long time, girl, me never see you. Come at me, hold your hand. Feel it, drunk, sit down in a tree top, pick out the blossom. Let me hold your hand, girl. Let me hold. So here's such man, King, here's such man to me now this morning. Good morning, Mr. Desmond Mackenzie, OD, Esquire, JP, CD. No, I'm not a CD. I'm OJ. Okay, what's up with this similar come say a CD. Him say, you're the King? That is not the original recording. But keep on telling, we know. Are you alone can't play the original? We leave that to you. You might have courses that we don't play the original. We can't play the original. Are you alone have the original? You know?
What Sunday? He will come with the original.
He won't play the original Sunday. So him say Sunday I'll play, he'll go leave a play now. So people, Desmond Mackenzie walk with him box of original recordings. The first copies of the record they were pressed and him have them. We're gonna bid pan. Hey, I wonder if, hold on, take time whisper there. I wonder if Miss Marcia know that all of the work that they've done over the years, and these people have been working for a long time.
Yeah.
And whatever they have, they deserve it because they put in the work. That the life savings, Miss Marcia, it not so 100, you know. Because the man take the cash and go and bid pan record. All the record that we see have a buy them, you know. Him bid pan them and buy them, you know. So the life savings tie up in the record, you know.
Goodness.
Eh? Cheese and peas. 3, 4, 5 o'clock morning time. He up a bid per record.
Oh, what did I say?
I spend half the life savings per record. Miss Marcia, you didn't even know audit. You didn't even call it Mrs. Monroe Ellis and her team. Yeah, man, because, boy, the retirement funds we think you have, tie up in a record. Anyway, play with tune. We leave original songs to you, Mr. Mackenzie. We can't compete with you on that score, yeah? And we've never tried to. But a vibe, see it. Turn up, Miss Lou.
Carry me out, we got to Linstead Market, not a quad we was selling. Oh Lord, not a mice, not a bite, what a Saturday night. Lord, not a mice, not a bite, what a Saturday night.
Drop it, G. Drop it. Oh, time signal. The people in the chat said that's why we can't compete with this man. No. Yeah, because we can't play original songs. So when you song them play, the move same way. How you know it's your original? Have you authenticated them? Is you on the gullible? Anyway, nobody start me. Because me and my 5 fans them, we mash up a whole out. Alright? Let's take the time signal.
Your 5 fans.
Decorate like a designer with BH Paints. The time brought to you by BH Paints is
8:47. I had a routine. So I'd come home from school, I'd go play football, I'd come back, I'd shower, and I'd listen to the Evening People Show with Never Willoughby every evening, Monday to Friday. Yeah. And this theme song, one of the theme songs, the great, irrepressible Cheryl Lee Ralph. Turn up the king, turn up the man. Just let it get there. So King, tell me now, who here is not dancing because it's not the original recording? Eh? Sure. The real me comes alive. Feel it in the evening. Something happens. You're a bad man in the youth, you're bad. This is quintessential Never Willoughby. Morning Dance by Spyra Gyra. Tana, listen to Steel Pan. So hear the hands, man. Come on, come dance it up. Come in our hands, man. Come in our hands, man. Right now. Right now. One of the greatest instrumentals of all time, riveted in our consciousness by the late, great Never Willoughby. This is the Evening People Show. We don't talk about political hack. Guess what now? Guess what now? She was hard for the money. So hard for it, honey. She was hard for the money, so you better treat her right. She was hard for the money. So hard for it, honey. She was hard for the money, so you better treat her right. energy show, you hear? This is a sleep up gravy. Hot and ready. Hot and ready. Morning rain is supposed to get people energized for the day ahead. Chuck. Jesus, please. Can you never play after this? CC Wilders. You can't play CC Wilders for the old show. I'll come here and scratch with me about it time. John! What a feeling! Come down now!
Close my eyes, feel the rhythm, wrap around, take a hold of my heart.
What she said? What she said?
Keeps believing I can have it all now and dancing for my life.
Money now, Mr. King!
Take your passion and make it happen. It just come alive. You can dance right through your
Energy!
baby, look at me and tell me what you see. You ain't seen the best of me yet. Give me time, I'll make you forget the rest. I got more in me, and you can set it free.
Music!
I can catch the moon in my
Music on JBC TV at 4 o'clock on a Saturday. I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna learn how to fly. Saturday morning on JBC TV. Hey, can you remember Leroy?
I'm gonna make it to heaven. Light up the sky like a flame. I'm gonna live forever. Baby, remember my name.
Remember. Jesus.
Oh, wow, Jermaine.
Jesus. Mr.
Wow.
King.
Wow.
Mr. King,
Wow.
stop.
Pull up.
Mr. King, stop.
Pull up.
Mr. King,
Pull up.
stop. Mr. King, stop. Mr. King, stop. In the name of all that is right and good, Mr. King, stop.
No, don't stop.
Mr. King.
Jermaine,
All right,
don't
go on
stop.
there, man. Go on there,
Don't
man.
stop,
Go
Jermaine.
on there, man. No pull.
I've been waiting for so long now.
We not play no original song this morning. We not dancing way. We don't feel good. We don't feel energized. Eh? So what's somebody say? What's somebody tell me say? Somebody in the chat said George is a sedative. Where's the more injection? Not true.
Just remember, you're the one
What, daughter?
I've been.
What? You don't make sense. Just sing, my girl. Well, I know. Chorus now, daughter. Let's go. Let's go. Because I had the time of my life. Do that and beat me. Do that and beat me. Yes, man, Mackenzie. Check this out, please. You know the worst thing, I was Kingston today, you know. Such man constituency, you know. We in your town. Up in your town. We're up in your town. In your constituency. I'm mash you up. Eh? No boy can't come my constituency come mash me up. None. Oh my gosh.
Listen. In the time that we do have,
I don't want to fight, but
physical.
Anyway, we have some birdie. King. Ease him up, the king. Ease him up. May I beg for him. Ease him up.
Oh my goodness.
Ease him up.
Celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday greetings going out to Farah and Fiola Lewis. So Marigold Weber is sending happy birthday greetings to Farah and Fiola Lewis. Celebrating their birthdays today. Happy birthday. Wishing for you guys a lovely one. Also seeing here, happy birthday greetings going out to our friends on Facebook, Dan Edwards, Samantha Burke, and Krumo Winter, Kay Eubanks, Precious Itel Blessings, Sharon May Larman, and Adine Roach. Happy birthday. Happy birthday greetings also going out to Sergeant Keneal Brown in St. James, Corporal Bradley Depas in Falmouth, Constable Karen Williams Stevenson, Claude Stevenson, retired DSP Eric Wint in South Trelawney, Dwight Crooks in Mabay, Elder Steve Bennett in Mandeville, Kwesi Chase Robinson in Warsop, Trelawney, Donovan Lewis Jr. in Kingston, Annette Parchment in Falmouth. Happy birthday greetings. All of these greetings are coming from Sergeant Wallace. And this one says, happy 24th birthday to Danae Rod in Miami, Florida. Have an awesome day, my beautiful and amazing niece. Love you much. And the greetings are coming from Auntie Marlene. So, a happy birthday to you, Danae Rod.
Two Music Minds says, happy birthday to my best cousin in the world, Trevor Morris. He turns the big 50 today. Have fun today, cuz. A whole heap of love may I send your way today. So Trevor Morris, you're 50 today, and your cousin, who uses the name Two Music My, says happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And this one, KTC, sending happy 9th birthday to my first boy, Kalel, from mom, dad, and Caden and grandparents. So, Kalel, you're 9 years old today. A happy birthday to you from your family.
Mrs. Mackenzie sent a message.
Well.
Listeners, no. Drought. We got a message, from the matriarch of the Mackenzie family, who says that in regards to the allegation that the family inheritance has been depleted by a certain gentleman who's been spending it on music. She said, so true. So audit, do it up. Audit, do it, Mrs. Mackenzie.
Audit is done already.
Brethren, I get to do that this evening. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's us.
That's us. This is a song for my dad. All right. He should be listening. Aw.
Big tune.
Yeah.
Big tune this.
So this one is for your dad. As we go, Barbara Robinson sending happy birthday greetings to beautiful sister Lisa, the wash belly of the family. She's in the USA. So Lisa, good morning to you. Happy birthday. Coming from Barbara Robinson and the rest of your family.
I have so much to share.
Steve Hutchinson sending happy birthday greetings to Uncle Silford Mead in Rose Hill, Manchester. Good morning to you, Uncle Silford. It's your birthday today. And Steve Hutchinson is sending you happy birthday greetings. Wishing for you a great day.
So our such man's in response is that Sunday will tell and put some music emoji. Yeah, man, Sunday will tell indeed, man. Can we go listen to you because we want to hear the language then we have to play. Yeah. But boy, we have got buy 2 party and can't cook cake. Can you get that?
Too fancy at a box street.
Yes.
But that's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning. I'm Tana.
And I'm his worst nightmare.
Good morning. Good morning.
Wanna say thank you for the many things you've done.
You've just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
It's time for Hot Listings, Nationwide 90 FM's on-air classifieds, made for quick ads and fast results.
Buy or sell properties in Jamaica with Sophia Earle, trusted real estate agent with Keller Williams Jamaica. WhatsApp 876-337-9825. That's 876-337-9825.
That was Hot Listings on Nationwide 90 FM. Listings start as low as $1,500. Call 876-630-1210 to book yours today.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
Among the brave women and men at the York Park Fire Station, 3 figures stand out, each at a different stage in their journey,